Testing the broadcast. Published. You're live. Very cool. Hey guys, yeah, that's blah 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 blah. Okay, sweet. Oh, nice, Tim Nichols. Cool. Gang, gang. Oh, and there's the studio opens up. You click that. That's quite convenient, quite convenient. Pop out chat, that's what I want to do. Boop boop a doop. Brandon boop boop a doop. So I've been saying for years, nobody listened to me. Yo, I'm excited about this. I don't know about you guys, but I'm feeling jolly, jolly good. Oh, Gothic, right out the gate. Thank you, Gothic, for being here. Hope everybody's in great Christmas cheer. Also, stream URL. Oh, I see. So the stream URL that I give on Twitter, I think, is different. Because YouTube's trying out their new beta system or whatever. Beta cuck. Just kidding. And it has a whole new URL for that. So when I link that on Twitter and Discord and stuff, I think it kind of like confuses people because they end up in like the old stream room. The stream chat. Can I say hi, Ollie? Hi, Ollie. How are you? Hello. Is it me you're looking for? I believe it is. I've found you. Notification squaw. What is up, squaw? Ooh. Let's read. Here's my question. I was wondering, what would you do if you saw an albino with long white hair, who's 7'5" with eyes that were dyed red because of blood vessels splodden, because that's what I am. You're 7 feet 5 inches tall, albino with white hair and have red eyes. I would have to draw you immediately for my catalog. My rare anomaly catalog. Billy, thanks. What's poppin'? Good to see ya. Take me down to the old stream city where the streams have duration and the girls are thirsty. Welcome back, Weston. It's good to see ya, always. Everyone should drop their recent emojis. What recent emojis have you guys acquired? Or what are your recently used emojis? Let's read. Let me look. Probably a lot of sad faces, dying faces, faces where the person is in extreme pain. Just kidding. JK. It's all just kissy kiss, kissity kiss, kiss, kiss. Kissy this, kissy that. Kiss a little baseball bat with a rat. Alright. Whoa, Corey. What Edmonds? Welcome back, my friend, with the 20 Canadian maple syrup doll hairs at work on day 15. Time for a couple melatonin and fall asleep to some stories. That sounds like a great idea. Thank you so much, Corey, for the 20. That's huge. And, yeah, day 15 of work. Are you picking up shifts, or is that just the typical stretches for you? Because that's balls to the wall, cray cray. Dear Lord. Dear Lord. How was Florida? Florida was great. A friend of mine invited me down because... Hope the music's not too loud with my voice, but maybe it complements it perfectly. I don't know. It's hard to tell sometimes with these meters, but yeah, Florida was fantastic. Went to Key West, very southern tip of Florida. The southern tip of the schlong of the United States. But it was amazing. It was like I'm up here in Pennsylvania, and it's cold as hell. Like, was like 17 degrees when I was gone. I did not feel bad for anybody back there. But down in Florida, it was 75 to 80 and mildly humid and sunny every freaking day. If it did rain, it only rained enough to like make you feel better. And yeah, it was perfect. Did I see the southernmost point? Oh, yes, I did. Yeah, where there was sunsets and stuff. And what was crazy, too, is that, like, it just felt like I was back in summer. Because I don't know about you guys, but, like, time feels like it's been going by very quickly. I'm sure, depending on your situation, it's... sometimes time can kind of drag on a little bit. But lately, for me, I feel like time goes by really fast. And... so I felt like summer was just like yesterday, and then all of a sudden it was cold and poopy outside, and then to go down to Florida, and just like, it just felt like I was like back on summer vacation again, and everything was perfect and everybody was happy. It was cool. It was beautiful. And honestly, sometimes I wouldn't mind living somewhere where it's just beautifully warm all the time, since I feel like you would lose track of time almost. You wouldn't even know what season or month or what it is. Darkside Animated Horror Stories of the Two says, happy holiday, love your channel. Thank you, Darkside. I'd love to check out those animations. Aaron likes travel with the 5 says, love your content. Thank you, Aaron. Where have you traveled to? It's always summer in Florida. Yeah, that would be a great show. Oh my god. Wow. I haven't even heard that notification in so long, but freaking Anthony Esposito back at it again. My sugar daddy extraordinaire with the 100 mother frickin' buckaroonies. Holy shit. He says, summer, the bees, the buzz, the kissable dandelion fuzz. Anthony, thank you so much. Every time you're in here, you're just making it rain on me. It's insane. Thank you. I hope you're doing well, Anthony. We feel like we haven't heard from you for a while, but I hope everything is well with you and yours. And my God, man, that's way too generous. Way too generous. Thank you. Dark Siren says, hey everyone, what y'all drinking tonight? I'm sipping Amsterdam. What is Amsterdam? I've never heard of that. I actually got some green tea brewed up, getting my throat nice and lubed for all of y'all. All y'allses. Shoot, thanks again, Anthony. That's kind of blowing my mind every time you do stuff like that. It's just like, holy shiz. Now you're setting the bar high for me to perform. I gotta perform tonight. But yeah, I also got this stuff. A good friend of mine who does voice acting over at Funimation. We kind of, met randomly through the whole social media aspects, and they had turned me on to this particular throat lozenge type stuff. Oh my god. Ticka-ticka-doo. Anthony Esposito with the 50 huge one says, I'm getting medically discharged. Is anyone going to ignore the fact that person just said they ate a baby? Who's eating babies in chat, guys? No baby eating. That's the one rule I have here. No baby eating. But Anthony, holy shit, man. Thank you, thank you. It's like I don't even know what to say to that kind of stuff. It's just like blows me away. Definitely makes me want to keep streaming. Ooh, Funimation name dropping. I wasn't even name dropping. I was just kind of like giving the context as to why they had suggested this sort of like syrupy, honey-based lozenge stuff that you can put in tea, and it honestly really helps. It's the one thing that starts to kind of like get clogged up a bit for for streams. There are no rules. No rules. Everyone go insane. Everyone go insane. Go, go, go insane. What music is this? This is a Snowy Christmas Days by Fear Dog. It's kind of a chill hop mix for the snowy Christmas time frame. Oh, but the music, that normally gets played after this when we start reading spooky stuff, which we will get into in about 7 minutes here, is from Iron Cthulhu Apocalypse, the prolific dark ambient master. How old am I? I'm 29 years old. Run with scissors, you're insane. Yeah, by Weird Al. Guys, thanks. Yeah, thank you again, Anthony. Holy shiz maliz. I just shizzed in my piz. I shizzed, I fizzed, and I farzed. Fear Dog. Who's Fear Dog? Is that a spooky boy narrator? Jeff Clappinger, you... Oh, okay. Never mind. Said you were my first ever subscriber. First ever. That would be interesting going back. Yeah, like who's anybody here is like super OG? Mr. Horrorcraft. Let's Read Like Me puts a lot of info in his vid descriptions, yet so few people read them. Yeah, I try to cover all the bases there with the social media and all the credits to the various things, but it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. Chantella says your voice is sexy. Jamaican girl here. Oh my goodness. Do you live in Jamaica? Because I went there for a wedding and it was beautiful. Danny, not very often you catch a live feed. You are lucking out. Any plans for Christmas? It's my baby's Christmas. Like your baby's first Christmas? Christmas for me is, just family time. It kind of snuck up on me a little bit. I'm like, holy shit, it's only like 8 days away. It's crazy. But yeah, Florida was a good time. We did some fun stuff, and we went down to Duval Street and did the bar tours down there, even though it was more of a pain in the ass just getting to the bars to like drink one drink and then bouncing, and we were just on our phones the whole time. But then we did a boating trip. I got super seasick. I'm not really good with like deep sea boats because they're just like the waters are so choppy. And then later we went to a ghost tour, which is kind of interesting. It was it was kind of mildly disturbing, I guess, to a certain degree, and like some of the stuff that they told us about the history and whatnot. But Fearsome Hero with the 2 says, sang for competition, no dairy, only lemon, honey tea. Oh yeah, dairy will bring a... Dairy, I think dairy just in general gives people a lot of inflammation, especially within your various tubes. Speaking of tubes, so one of the... Real quick, before we get into... We got another 3 minutes here to chit-chat, and obviously I'll answer anybody's questions they have as the stream goes on. But since this is my designated time to ramble, I might as well do it. We were getting on the ghost tour, a nice little kind of rundown of some history, and this wasn't even that long ago, but So there was this girl that she was I believe a Cuban immigrant to the Key West area, and she had a husband, and she came down with tuberculosis. The husband ended up actually going back to Cuba and leaving her there because of that, which was pretty sad. She was only about 19, and apparently this guy who worked in the Navy Yard as a, sort of a medical tech, lied to her and said that he was the Count of blah 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 from Germany or some nonsense, and that he was a doctor, and that he was going to cure her tuberculosis, and that he was in love with her. And just so happened that he was none of that. I forget what his name was. It was something very, very less exciting, not the Count of anything. And he had a family of his own as well, but he was so obsessed with this girl, and she was constantly saying like, no, I still have a, he'd ask her to marry her, and he's like, I still have a husband of my own, and blah, 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 and, even though I guess she would still go to his care at the Navy area, and, but, always kind of turned down his advances, and unfortunately she had then succumbed to the powers of tuberculosis and passed away at a young age. So this man, being as sort of obsessed with her as one might be in that regard, built a mausoleum where he had buried her body, it was sort of in devotion to her. And when you hear that part, you kind of think like, oh, that's so romantic. And but then things kind of went a little strange from there, because over the course of the subsequent few weeks, he unfortunately went back into that mausoleum that he owned the property of, that he built himself in the graveyard. He took her body, married her, being his own sort of, essentially the only witness and the only individual involved in the marriage of a dead body. I don't know if that's even possible. And consummated that marriage, as the woman so aptly put it. But not only did he consummate that marriage with her body, he consummated that marriage for the next 9 years straight. That was when it hit me, like, Jesus Christ, this guy's pretty fucked up. And I guess he was doing that kind of stuff for literally the next 9 years, and the way that he would accomplish this was through the process of various tubes that he had inserted into her body, and different silicone gels and other stuff that he had kind of applied to this dead body to maintain its image. Yeah, it's very grim, very disgusting. And then over the course of time, the sister of hers finally found out that this was happening, went to go investigate, called the police. The police came. Apparently there was nothing they could do to press charges against him, because lo and behold, necrophilia was not illegal at that time in the state of Florida. That was something I don't think really crossed many people's mind. Harley Belden with the 20 says, I listen to your channel on autoplay when I work my 10-hour shifts. Thank you for keeping me company while my best friend is away in the military. Absolutely, Harley. Anytime. Thank you for allowing me to join you at work. Thank you for the 20. Appreciate that. Yeah, time for a shower, especially after that kind of story. And but then they did a proper funeral for her later, I guess. And then this story got out there, and I guess at that time over 7,500 people came through to heard the story and paid a nickel to see her body And apparently in the Key West area, there was only 2,500 people. So people literally traveled to come hearing about this necrophilia story with the tubes and the silicon skin. And, shit, I don't even know. Like, paid money to see this. And this was not even that long ago. It was like 1941 or some shit. But long story short, necrophilia is now illegal in the state of Florida. Believe it or not, even with Florida man running around down there. And no, I didn't see Skunk Ape, but I would have liked to. Alright guys, we're going to transition over to some read time. And I just want to thank Mr. Robin Mikalsen for all of his amazing work on my channel. You can see here he made this 3D motion graphic with me and my kitty hanging out by the Christmas tree and a nice crackling fire. It's pretty awesome. It's also got some info there about the Discord. You can see in the description below. You can follow me at letsread.official on Instagram or Let's Read Creepy on Twitter. All that's in the description if you so desire to follow me on social media, be kept up to date with my nonsense. But yeah, we're about to kick this off. Let me know if the music's too loud for you. These are all Christmas related stories. Have I listened to Edge of Dawn? I don't think so. What's that about? Also, for a guy that reads a lot of stories, and I swear this isn't a sponsored thing, but I use the app on your desktop called Flux. And Flux basically just dims down your bright desktop to sort of an orange hue, and it makes it way easier for you to stare at a computer screen for many, many hours at a time without kind of straining your eyes with that blue light. Carrie, yeah, I'm happy you're here. I'm glad you can be here. My mock British accent, yeah. Listening to too much Lazy Masquerade to start to pick up on it. Alright, so this first story is called Mall Santa. Fearsome used Flux? Yeah, it's great. 'Tis great, great. But I'll probably include that motion graphic background in the next, I guess tomorrow's video when I do the render. So, Lila, your back hurts. Why does your back hurt? You know, whenever my back hurts, I've said this before, but I do certain PT, physical therapy type stretches, try to really get the hamstrings, which you might not even realize are tight, or there's a couch stretch that I do. My one chiropractor I went to said it's the greatest stretch in the world, as it stretches the hip flexors and just kind of releases all that tension through the hips, and yeah, and subsequently onto your back. Sometimes your legs and those muscles can be really tight and then translate up to your lower back, and that can release a lot of tension. Hey, Sugar Mills, with the $10. Let's hope you have a wonderful holiday just sipping hot cocoa with whipped cream flavored vodka while my cat curls up on the couch with me. That sounds amazing. I'm jealous. But I'm glad I can make that hopefully an even better time for you. Thank you so much for the $10. I had quite a bit of smalcohol down in Florida, which is something I don't normally do, and I thought it was going to hit me hard and stuff, but I don't know why. Like, even though we were going relatively ham on that kind of stuff, at least early on in the vacation, it would only be like an hour or even less later, and if I hadn't drank anything, my body would just like processed it like super fast, and so it was kind of hard to really even maintain whatever buzz I was going for there. It was strange. Your pit bull wants to play tug where I listen. Tug on your ear? Hey, whoa. Aurelia Amos says, my boyfriend proposed to me tonight. Nice, congrats. Did I get any of your famous meth from the local Florida man? I could not find... I did actually see quite a few Florida men. Because it was interesting. It was a mix down in Key West. It's a mix of, like, affluent, older people. And then it was, like, just homeless drug addicts kind of scattered about. Because it was really funny. We stayed at this timeshare that my friend's grandparents were a part of. That's why we got into it. But it was a really nice, like, resort, hotel type situation. But you have, like, the really nice hotel resort, and then literally, like, right out in front, like, on their, like, grassy area, there's just, like, sort of a small colony of various homeless people just chilling out, chatting with each other. And they seemed relatively chill. I think they're kind of like cats where they sleep during the day and become beasts. They get the zoomies at night. But it was a good time. You listen to the podcast? Thank you. Yeah, I was kind of curious. Did that the new podcast is up through Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Yep, episode 51. But you're going to hear all the stories here first on YouTube before they head over to the podcast. But I think the podcast is fun because it's a little easier on the data, and it's always like a 3-hour video. All right. The food hot. You did not miss anything. We're going to kick it off right now. About 10 years ago, I graduated college. Was I able to... Shit. I actually haven't read for a little bit, so I got to get back into the groove. About 10 years ago, I graduated college, was unable to find immediate work, and got pretty desperate around Christmas time. All right. About 10 years ago, I graduated college, was unable to find immediate work, and got pretty desperate around Christmas time. So I took on the iconic role. Fuck. Who's going to be in charge of mistakes tonight? Because I imagine there's going to be quite a few. So I took on the iconic role of Santa Claus at my local mall. But since Christmas is probably my favorite holiday, I never had a problem getting into character. And well, thanks to my love of pizza and beer, I've never had a problem looking the part either. All it took was the addition of one of those glossy fake white beards and the iconic red suit itself, and I was making myself feel festive just by looking in the mirror. I had the voice down, the suit, the beard, and if I'm being honest, I was pretty proud of how good a Santa I was. Outside of the holiday season, I now work as an admin assistant for a shipping company. Not exactly the most exciting job in the world, but it pays all right. So when the annual opportunity to don the red suit and make some kids smile comes around, I jump at the chance. However, during my time on the job, the most valuable lesson I learned was that you can never, ever promise... Well... However, during my time on the job, Shit. Your voice is so different when you're just the freestyling it in white broadcast voices. Sounds great, but different. You sound different. Yeah, no, my talking voice versus my spooky boy voice is definitely not the same. But you can kind of hear how I transition down to it. However, during my time on the job, the most valuable lesson I learned was that you can never, ever promise the kids anything. There will be some children that ask for unrealistic gifts for Christmas. Some are just impossible to procure, like, I want a dragon, a horse, a tank. But sometimes they'll ask for other things that are a little more sensible, just way out of their parents' holiday budget. So I'd learned to give them my best, Santa will try his very best for you, before moving the topic of conversation onto something else. Christmas last year was pretty rough, though, mainly because I had made the decision to make it the final one I'd play Santa. But it was rough for other reasons, too. I developed quite the working relationship with some of the mall employees, both short and long term, so it was quite emotional when I announced that I'd be hanging up the Santa hat to spend more time with my family around the holidays. Anyway, Friday, December 22nd, was my last shift before the switch over to the new guy playing Santa Claus, and the mall was way busier than expected. I mean, it always gets pretty hectic the closer you get to Christmas, but even I've never seen anything like it in all the years I've been playing the role. This final day of festivities was easily the toughest one to date, as I knew after that day I'd be moving on from playing Santa Claus. I know this seems kinda suspect. Most people feel liberated when they leave a job like that. But, at the risk of sounding sort of sappy, I didn't have many good Christmases growing up, so I felt like a lot of the festive spirit was me making up for lost time. They say that time flies when you're having fun. Never was a truer word said. That last day flew by quicker than I could have ever expected. One minute it was lunchtime, the next the sun had set, and it was fast approaching the time when I'd have to wrap everything up. But just as I was beginning to leave, I noticed a little girl slowly approaching me. "Why, hello there, little one. And where are your parents?" I kept the voice on, giving her my warmest Santa smile. She didn't say a word. She just gave me this tired look and kept walking toward me with her arm. Wait, what? Say what now, bruh? Okay, so she didn't say a word. She just gave me this tired look and kept walking toward me with held her arms aloft, or maybe with her arms held aloft. What the hell is aloft? Were they up and aloft? Shy, thank you. You sound like a serial killer. No, not at all. I am happy. Oh yeah, dude. So Austin, wait. Yeah, so Austin was the friend that had the timeshare down there. He's in the chat right now. He says, "Yo, dude, I caught a big-ass shark with this boy. If you like her, then you should have put a tube in her." That's what we said about the unfortunate young girl with tuberculosis. If you like her, you should have put a tube in her. Anyways, so we were on a dock, sitting on a dock by the bay, and we had caught some mangrove snapper. Well, Austin caught pretty much all of them, and which then he cooked up later, and it tasted amazing. Austin's quite the cook. Don't tell anybody. They might come over to his house. But anyways, we used some of that live bait to kind of... I cut it up and we threw it back into as bait. And believe it or not, out of nowhere appeared these 6-foot-long nurse sharks. They were brown with a white underbelly. And they kind of looked a little bit like a mix between a shark and a catfish, I guess you could say. And it was insane because, initially, we didn't think that they would bite on anything. But, I mean, obviously the bloody fish is what attracted them towards the dock in the first place. And then all of a sudden, one was biting on Austin's line, and then he let it take it, and it got caught on the line. And it was insane. It was just this huge 6-foot nurse shark just caught on this line, and he said he learned most of his fishing skills from Red Dead. Kind of like when it was tugging, he would let it pull a little bit, and then when it was tired, he would start to reel it in. And we pulled it all the way up to the dock, and it was so funny because, we kind of drew a large crowd of people who had just arrived to the resort because there's a tiki bar there, and they're like, "Holy shit, a fucking shark, dude." And so that was fun. Pretty much like a full-on Discovery Channel dangerous catch show. And it was so funny because we pulled him up and we got the shark as close as possible because we were going to cut the line. And then as I start to cut it, the shark just rips backwards and the line shoots back up towards my face. And I was so freaking thankful that there was no hook still on that line, because I'm pretty sure if that would have been the case, I may have been blind in one eye upon returning to Let's Read. Which may have put a damper on things for a little bit, because fucking hell, man. Oh yeah, I sure really saw the shark on my Instagram story. That's why you guys gotta follow me on Instagram, so you can see some dank-ass memes and some dank-ass shark shit. You thought I was still telling the Christmas story for a second. The guy started going off on a shark tangent. Yeah, but that was definitely one of the biggest highlights of that trip. It was great. She didn't say a word. She just gave me this tired look and kept walking toward me with her arms held aloof, as if she wanted to be picked up. Alright, I think it's a loft. I'm going to look it up. A loft. A loft definition. Up or into the air overhead. Oh, okay. Yes, so that is the word. That is the word, sir. She didn't say a word. She just gave me this tired look and kept walking toward me with her arms held aloft, as if she wanted to be picked up. I looked around for her parents, but I didn't see anyone that was obviously accompanying her. So I picked the little girl up and plopped her down on my lap, just as I'd done 1,000 times before. "And what might your name be, young lady?" My name is Holly." "Holly? Well, I never. What an adorable festive name." Wait, what the fuck? I don't know why that confused me, because it's like, oh, he's quoting, it's like a title within a dialogue, I see. Donachie? Yeah, it's okay. "Holly? Well, I never. What an adorable festive name." "The Holly and the Ivy is one of my favorite Christmas songs. And may I ask, what is your last name, Holly?" "Donachie. It's Donachie." I nodded to the nearby mall security to have the name Holly Donachie broadcast over the mall speaker system. That way her parents would come and find her. No doubt they'd be extremely worried at this point. But all the while this was happening, I would keep her company. "And what is it that Santa can get you for Christmas, Holly?" Again, she didn't answer. She looked off into the distance as if she were staring at nothing, like the 1,000-yard stare you hear about NAM vets having. She then looked up at me with the saddest set of blue-green eyes I'd ever seen. "All I want for Christmas is a friend." I was dumbstruck. In all my years of playing Santa Claus, I'd never had any kids say they wanted a friend for Christmas. It was absolutely heart-wrenching. All I could think to do was pat her on the head. "Well, I can be your friend, Holly. Santa Claus will always be your friend, and I'm sure a little girl as lovely as you will have no trouble finding herself a friend." She gave me a weak smile, hugged me, and then hopped down off my lap. I tried to stop her from just running off, but I was hesitant to actually grab her by the arm, lest I upset her. I called her name a few times, but she didn't seem to listen. She just disappeared into the throngs of festive shoppers. I tried to follow, but there was no sign of her. So I started asking around if anyone had seen a little girl, about 4 feet tall, long brown hair, those almost luminous blue-green eyes, kind of a shabby appearance. Not a single person had any idea what I was talking about. It took a fair few minutes for members of the mall security staff to actually wade through the sea of people and make it to the Santa's grotto. When I told them that she ran off into the department store, they started to become worried. "Have any parents showed up looking for her?" I asked. "Nah, no one. Maybe she just wandered here after getting out of the house or something. Parents don't even know to look here. I was getting increasingly anxious as time went on, but after a thorough search of the mall and some intense studying of the CCTV camera, there were no signs of little Holly. It was like she just dropped off the face of the earth. I suppose that should have been the last of it, but for some reason I couldn't keep this little girl off my mind. The way she acted when questioned about her parents, compared to how forthcoming she was with all the other stuff I'd asked her, left a really bad taste in my mouth. So, one morning, after a dog walk and a little breakfast, I sat down at my computer and plugged the little Hey, KFC man says, hey you, thank you for the twofer, 420 no scope, bro. Tiffany, that's a good combo right there. So, one morning after a dog walk and a little breakfast, I sat down at my computer and plugged the little girl's name into Google. I don't quite know what I was expecting to find. Nothing, if I'm being honest, but what I did find absolutely horrified me. December 23rd. Desperate mother pleads for return of missing girl. 9-year-old Holly Grace Donachie was reported missing by her mother, Lily Rose Donachie. At the time of her disappearance, the little girl was wearing a blue and white dress, white tights, and said her hair was in bunches. She is approximately 4 feet 2 inches tall, weighing at 60 pounds, and has brown hair and blue-green eyes. If you have information regarding the whereabouts of any person, please contact. How do you say Suffolk? Suffolk County? Welcome to Suffolk County. Pronunciation. Suffolk. Huh, what's this thing? Interesting. If you have any information regarding the whereabouts of any missing person, please contact the Suffolk County... Please contact the Suffolk County Police Department at 617-635-1100. I was stunned. I just saw her a few weeks before on the 22nd. Perhaps it was a typo, but the more I researched, the more uneasy I became. The next article sent shivers down my spine. January 4th. Breaking. The remains of the missing 9-year-old girl, Holly Donachie, were found today, January 4th, in a wooded area about 3 miles away from her home. Suffolk County Police are investigating the cause of death, which appears to be an act of foul play. Holly was gone. She died just a few weeks after I met her, and all she ever wanted was a friend. Holy shit, dude. That's fucking sad as fuck. Kathy, sorry. It's so hard for me not to say bad words. Why does my voice sound like an advert? I know. Get your missing kids here, missing kids. Missing kids in tubes. Contact me anytime. I sound like a news anchor trying to be creepy. Attention everyone. Today's weather is going to be chilly. A low of 35 with some speckles of rain. As we go into the night hours, be careful as that rain may transition into ice and the roads could be quite precarious. I suggest putting down a little bit of salt, not just to keep the demons away from your house, but also to melt that darned ice. Anthony, you missed the story. That's okay. It was actually a really good one. That was actually really, really good. In the sense that it was really creepy, but very, very sad at the same time, because I'm just like, what the fuck? This fucking girl, dude. Your Christmas spirit was just sucked out of you. I'm sorry. Nine circles of hell that stopped you from drawing because I was like, wait, what? Excuse me? She's dead? I thought she ran away. Yeah, I guess literally died right after, which is fucking sucks. I sounded like Mort. Wait, Mort? Without the accent? Oh, the narrator Mort? How long does it take to record? It depends. I mean, I'm kind of bullshitting with you guys quite a bit, so I get kind of distracted. But if I were to do these by myself, I would say maybe 2 to 3 hours, or probably less than that. I'm not really sure, but I think the whole process of recording and making a video and all that can take upwards of 6 hours or more. It's not, it's definitely a process, but I've gotten used to it by now. This is a test. All right. Oh, Mortis Media. Mortis Media. What do you want to draw on your blue and white ornament? Something other than a snowflake. You could draw like a skull's face. A spooky skull's face. Or me. You could draw my name. Write "Let's Read" on it. Why is my voice so smooth? I just drink a lot of butter, dude. Speaking of which, take a chug of butter right now. Happy pagan holidays. I never really understand that. Like, people always say, Christmas borrows from pagan religions and stuff like that. And I get that part, but what is pagan? What's the definition of pagan? Is it just anything non-Christian? That, because every time I hear pagan, I just imagine a bunch of half-naked people just dancing around a fire or something like that as they worship some chaos god, and I presume it's a little bit more complicated than that. So this one's called the Toy Store. The Toilet Store. I worked in a toy shop for a couple of years, and as you can imagine, Christmas was a pretty intense time for all of us who worked the holiday shifts. It was impossible to get that job without being an intensely enthusiastic, happy, smiley kind of person. Like 80% of the staff were entertainers or had come from some kind of performance background, and we were living the dream, so to speak. We were actually getting paid to play with toys, joke with kids, and above all, Christmas was the best time of the year for that. A toy shop at Christmas time had such a magical feeling about it, especially if all staff are have what the fuck? Especially if, this is what it says, especially if the all staff have the Christmas spirit about them. All right, let's just have to figure out how to readjust that to make sense. Especially if the staff have the Christmas spirit. A toy shop at Christmas time has such a magical feeling about it, especially if all the staff have the Christmas spirit about them. Now, our store was hugely into Christmas, to the point where our smart casual uniforms even had assistants to Santa Claus or Santa's Little Helpers or other various things written in big writing over the back. This, of course, led to some fantastic interactions with kids, asking about if we'd met him and things like that. Being the only staff member who had actually worked with children for years, these questions were normally sent my way to be answered because I always had one ready. So, that's the backstory out of the way. One weekday, at an oddly quiet moment, I was on my own on the shop floor while the other staff members restocked after the afternoon rush. A boy comes in unaccompanied, must have been about 9 or 10, smiles briefly at me, and starts walking around. I gave him a couple of minutes to take a look at things before asking him if he wants to play with the new air-powered rocket launcher we had. "No thanks. I know Santa. I don't need your help," he replies flatly. This was mildly unusual, but hey, he was a pretty sweet kid otherwise. Unfortunately, I don't know much in there that would have been good for a kid his age. I figured it'll probably be his dad or someone paying for it, so I start showing him some of the limited stuff that would be suitable for some of the older kids. I show him a few things, and he sees something he likes, this big massage slipper. It's one big slipper that you put both feet into, and it has various massage settings. Not the kind of thing I'd imagine him to pick out, but a fairly cool gift nonetheless. So he asks how much it is, and I tell him it's like $20 or whatever the price was. He then instantly looks angry and frustrated. "Is that a bit too expensive, bud?" I ask, keeping the tone friendly. I don't want this kid to be upset, and he nods. So I show him some other things, and he starts getting more and more difficult to deal with. He's frowning, breathing all heavy through his nose like he's building up to some kind of temper tantrum. He starts telling me again how he knows Santa, how Santa gives toys away to good kids and doesn't ask for money in return. I just calmly explain that I can't just give stuff away for free, then polite leave. Super spesh. Smash, bro, you believe in Christmas? Do you believe? Raven, you were born into the Jehovah's Witness cult, so you can't have the spirit. I'm sorry to hear that. That sounds very, very unfun. I just calmly explain that I can't just give stuff away for free, then politely leave him to it to browse the rest of the toys. A couple of more minutes go by. I'm just sitting by the cash register, reading a book since the store is so quiet. It's only me and the kid with my manager up in the office. I remember looking up from my book, and the kid is at the register, just staring up at me with this angry look on his face. Once again, I apologize and explain to the kid that, as much as I'd like to, I can't just give stock away, otherwise I'll get fired. "Your boss is mean," the kid says, seething with anger at this point. Now, this probably wasn't the best thing to do, but since the kid was so on the money with his little statement, my boss. Hey, Anthony Esposito with the 2 says, "No, I know Santa. I don't need your help, peasant. You little peasant." And then with another 5, thanks you. And this says, "Keep it up." Hell yeah, trying to get swole with this. Leary says, "I love you." Thank you, Leary. Love you as well. Christmas in Hollywood. What's that like? Oh, we're at like 430 peeps, guys. Thanks. Click that like button if you haven't already done it. I don't know. It's supposed to do something. It's kind of like clicking the button for the crosswalk, but I hear it helps. Now, this probably wasn't the best thing to do, but since the kid was so on the money with this little statement, my boss was indeed a jerk, I just laugh. Like, not hysterically, just like this little involuntary giggle. The kid does not take this well. He thinks I'm laughing at him. "Why are you laughing at me?" he asks, practically shaking with rage. I begin. Miguel Lopez with the 2 says, "Have you ever had any creepy experiences yourself?" You know, I've been pretty fortunate to not really have to come across that stuff. Not necessarily the most imposing individual, but I think being kind of a larger fellow, and being a fellow, of the male variety, most of the stories in the Let's Not Meet stuff kind of gets, you kind of avoid that whole shebang. I'm trying to look up okay, so someone asked where the podcast was available, like what apps, and it appears that I'm part of Apple Podcasts, Castbox, Deezer. It says Google Podcasts there. It says Google will find your podcast when they update their listings. You don't need to do anything like to add it to that. You can grab the link and paste it here if you wish to display it on your podcast page. So I don't. But then I asked about Google Podcasts, and people said, or maybe it was Google Play that they were having trouble with. But I guess it's on Google Podcasts. I'm not really sure. iHeartRadio, Radio.com, Radio Public, Spotify, which is I think the biggest one people use. Yeah, Let's Breed, and looks like there's also options for Stitcher, which says sign up to Stitcher as a content provider, add your feed. I don't know what Stitcher is. I don't know if anybody knows what Stitcher is. And then there's one called TuneIn. To submit to TuneIn, complete their submission form when you have the URL. If you're ready on TuneIn, paste link here and display it on the podcast page. So I think we got all the big ones. The big ones are like Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and I think Castbox is kind of gaining some traction, but I don't know. Day 23 of waiting for that magical join button to appear for me on your channel. Does it not appear? I don't think I've lost it, because people do become members during streams, so do you think it's available during a stream, or... I know there's like two types of YouTube now, like one that looks older and one that's like, newer and fresh face. You use Stitcher? It's pretty okay? Huh, yeah, I don't know. I think I should get on there? I gotta get on Stitcher? I begin to explain that I'm not actually laughing at him, but I soon realize it's not getting through to him. He just storms out of the store, disappearing among the crowds of middle-aged women that are clogging up the mall. As the afternoon draws on, the store gets a little busier and I get to actually do some work. Like I said, the work was fun, so it was never a problem. Being busy meant the hours go quicker, which means I get to go home quicker. Win-win. So I make a few sales, get to test out some of the fancy new Nerf guns we had in the store, and the weird kid eventually just slips from my mind. Nothing remotely eventful happens for the rest of the day. Right up until closing time, when I'm starting my stock take and working on closing down the store. Someone is standing at the register. I look up from my worksheet, and it's the kid. I give him a cheery enough greeting, hoping the kid's mood is improved, but it hasn't. Instead, it's gotten worse. "You're mean too," he hisses. "Look, I'm sorry, kid, but where are your parents?" I ask, but the kid refuses to answer. He just glares at me again. "Kid, where are your parents? I don't want to have to call mall security, but you can't be wandering around on your own, okay?" "He knows when you've been sleeping." Fuck, that sounded weird. "He knows when you are sleeping," the kid mutters. I roll my eyes, but the way he says it has me really creeped out. "He knows when you're awake. He knows when you've been bad or good, and you've been really, really bad." Where's your pop, kid?" I ask again, trying to remain calm. "North Pole." "Yeah, very funny, but seriously, you gotta go. The store is closing." "He's gonna climb down your chimney, covered in soot, all while you're asleep," the kid said. I didn't say a word in reply. "He'll know when you're asleep, and he'll be able to creep up right next to your bed." I reach for the store's phone, dialing the mall security short number. I try not to listen to the kid, but I can't help but hear his words over the phone's dial tone. "He's gonna stuff your mouth with coal until you choke and die." I turn, ready to scream at this creepy little brat. It's one thing to be a spoiled kid. It's another to say such threatening things to someone who's only trying to help. But when I turn around, the kid was gone. Not a sign of him, even outside the store in the emptying mall. I've only told this story a handful of times, but it never fails to creep me out. The idea of such a kid having such a skewed idea of Santa as some weird avenging angel, having a warped view of the holiday season, never, ever fails to make my skin crawl. That plug. I get y'all high, y'all get me rich. Plug, be very careful, my friend. Be very, very careful. What does my car look like? That's a weird question that I don't want to answer. I don't know why that weirded me out, but I've never really been into like fancy cars or anything like that. And I don't know. Like whenever people say they have a dream car, like I don't really have a dream car. Like I've seen cars that look cool, but like there's a pretty big Chinese population in the area that I live, like as far as students go, international students, and they're like loaded, like rich to the beans, bro. And they all drive like the nicest freaking cars you've ever seen. And granted, I think that they like lease them or some shit, but still, like I see what they drive around, and to me it's like a culmination of like the most vapid bullshit in culture. But it's just not me, you know what I mean? All I need a car for is getting to point A to point B. I've gotten to drive some like fast cars that people have, and not a really huge fan of that sensation, and I don't really see the point of it. Anthony Esposito with the 5 says, I don't know why, but I just watched a video of you eating fruit in one of my classic ASMR tapes. Thank you, Anthony. Thank you for the 5 too. Cheese Bungeon with the 5 said, that's a super scary kid. That is a scary kid. Jesus, what's Rasharella, what's your social security number and your mother's maiden name? Oh yeah. We're really getting in there now. What stories traumatized me the most? Well, that first story we read was very, very sad, where the girl he saw her, but it's been a while since the story's just like got me shooketh. You've got me shooketh. Miss Finessery says, I still can't drive. That's alright. You will get that license one day. Unless you had it taken away, I'm sorry. Sorry, materialism BS. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, I get it. Like, I always thought it'd be cool to have, like, what do they call it? Like, Land Rovers or some shit like that. But, like, the ones that look like you're going on a safari, because I just thought they look sweet. And then I think there's like a Land Rover. I watched the Kardashians the other day, regretfully. Actually, not regretfully. They're pretty fucking funny to watch because they're so stupid. They're like the dumbest. I mean, they're not the dumbest people of all time, but they're just they're LA dumb. You know what I mean? They're just like vapid LA people who are just rich as, they're literally billionaires. And, everything about their life, like even in their leisure wear, they it looks like they had someone do their makeup, and their leisure wear is like my wedding dress. Not that I would wear a wedding dress, but you get the idea. What's my zodiac sign? Gemini. Saw a funny meme where it was like zodiac people, and it says like, you will eat today, and then it's just a picture like, oh my god, how did they know? OT Super Duper with the 2 says, any favorite snacks between stories? I don't really eat during reading, to be honest with you. It's just kind of like the lingering stuff in your mouth just sort of kind of extends the process, I guess you could say, where I have to like drink water and get it all out, and then like when you're reading it kind of like interferes. But oh, do you mean just like day-to-day life? Yeah, I love snacks though. What did I eat today? I recently have been purchasing oats, like oatmeal. And dude, initially I made like 2 cups of oats, or like a cup of oats. And holy shit, that was a lot of food. Like a cup of oats with water, and you boil it in the microwave or whatever. Like, my God, it's like, I don't even know. I don't even know what to say, man. It's just like too much. That's like too much for my mouth. Am I looking for any specific type of stories right now other than Christmas? You know, if you submit a story to the subreddit or email it, just let me know like what it's about, kind of, or if it's like a particular theme or whatever. It just helps. Some people that kind of do it like generic, like where it just says like my creepy life, and I'm like, I don't even know what the fuck this is gonna be about. But it makes it easier whenever you like pick a theme or just something more specific to what's happening in the story, kind of like the normal let's not meet stuff. Anthony Epsizu with the 2 says he loves grapes on a vine. I do. I love grapes. Grapes. I used to eat a lot of pretzel M&Ms. Those are maze balls. In the microwave, Joel? Why? Yeah. It's easy. You just microwavable safe bowl. Now I do half a cup of oats with a cup of water, and you just throw it in there and for 2 minutes, and it boils the shit out of it. And then you can just mix all your other stuff in there. Gemini, my favorite, but so two totally different people, the norm and the fucking crazy. You know, I really don't understand the zodiac stuff. Like, I don't get it. Like, what? I don't know. It seems so like hyper generalized that I like describing someone's personality. It's like any specific things about people's personalities like can fit into really any category of the month that you're born. Like, oh, he's sometimes crazy, sometimes chill. Who would have thought? Lavender, I already answered your question, dude. You asked it like 3 times. Do I record any music or anything like that with like your great recording equipment? I'm sure that you have some awesome recording equipment. I mean, I use an H4n mic for my recording stories, and then for what you're listening right now for the stream is my XLR mic, the AKG C214, that goes into a Zoom mixer and just like maintains that good quality for the streams. But to be honest, I don't record any music. It's I use our good friend here, Iron Cthulhu Apocalypse. He does all the background music and stuff. But I'm really excited because the background image you see right now with me sitting with by my fire with my cat, Robin Mikalsen, is literally almost done with the Jane Dando documentary. That should be coming out, I want to say, this coming Monday. What day of the week is Monday? So that's going to be December 23rd, which will be pretty lit. And then I guess I'll have a video coming out on Christmas too. On Christmas. So I'm really excited for that documentary. He put a freaking ton of work into that. It's going to be a good length too, probably like over 30 minutes or so. And I think you guys are going to be pretty interested as we go forward with that. So definitely want to keep pumping out documentaries as time goes on because they're a lot of fun to do and change up the content a little bit. Kitty. My cat's rubbing into I got a stand-up desk here and my cat's just like rubbing around my feet, trying to get my attention. What are you doing? Robin, he's done. You know, in the Discord, he said we might do a viewing party, probably. He might stream it and we do a little viewing party this weekend sometime, Friday or when everybody's free, but I think that would be a fun little thing. And then obviously I'm going to try to like promote the documentary as much as we can leading up to it on Monday's release, because I think Mondays are usually my best release days. Like weekend releases, I think people are just kind of busy and they sort of forget about, you know, videos because they're just doing their own thing. So Mondays are sort of like, it's a good day when people are just trying to escape for a little bit. All right, so this next story is about Black Friday shopping. Who did the art for your channel? The line art and color scheme is very appealing. Thanks. Yeah, that's some cool 70s sci-fi stuff, unless you're talking about something else specific. But oh, he's such a good cat. My cat's name is Purdeep. Purrdeep. Purdeep. Geminis are sometimes hungry, sometimes spoopy. And that kind of like perfectly defines me, Weston. Thank you. Alright, let's kick off this Black Friday story here, which I think correlates to Christmas at some point. How many intros do I have? Well, we are, for the true scary stories from Reddit, there's like the nuclear bomb intro, and then there's the subscriber story intro, the paranormal stories intro, the theme story intros. There's 2 of those that I rotate between because they're so cool, and I just want to keep them and keep showing you guys them because they're awesome. I really like those intros. Back when it was originally released, I really wanted to get my hands on a new Xbox One. Forgot the X. Did you see the new Xbox? It's like a big computer thing. And then the PS4 or the PS5 looks really weird. Like, I feel like they should probably scrap that design and start over. Back when it was originally released, I really wanted to get my hands on a new Xbox One X. You know the one. It was 4K ready with a considerably faster processor. So naturally, I tried absolutely everything in my power to get one as immediately as I could. My local Walmart was having one of those Black Friday sales, and like so many others, I stood patiently in line, waiting to try and beat the rush to grab one. But I was nowhere near sprightly or fortunate enough to actually get one that way. So after failing to get one in person, I then tried getting one online. But as rapidly as I wanted one to own... my cat's gonna scratch my chair, which is probably going to indicate to me that... Oh, nope, he's not. Sometimes he jumps up on the one computer chair and scratches it, and it like lets me know that, like, hello, I am ready to go out of the room, please, thank you. I am cat. Cheese Bungen, I'm not sure how you say that, but with a 5 says, why was there no Let's Read or Creepypasta readers that made the YouTube awards? You guys are amazeballs. We're kind of like low-key, I feel like. I mean, I'm sure the guy that has the greatest chance to do that is probably like Chills or, Mr. Nightmare. Corpse Husband is above 1 million subscribers now, which is pretty crazy to think about. But, we did, a bunch of us did get onto a Watch Mojo video about like the top narrators on YouTube for spooky stories. So that was pretty sick. I felt really good about that. I'm like, holy shit, we got noticed. And I was like number 5 or some shit. I forget, but I felt pretty honored about that. Thanks, Watch Mojo. Watch Mojo. But as rapidly as I wanted one to own, the users who were reselling them were asking way too much money, and I simply couldn't afford to shell out double, or sometimes triple the price. After weeks of trying to find a way to get a hold of one, I had to come to the conclusion that it just wasn't to be. It was then that I had something of a stroke of luck. Although I had resorted to Craigslist in my desperation, I did actually find someone that was selling their Xbox One X at no more than the original buying price of the console. Naturally, I was skeptical. For the life of me, I simply couldn't fathom why they would do something like that, but one thought overrode all others. If I didn't put in a bid now, someone else would, and I could kiss my chance of owning a One X goodbye. I immediately emailed the seller and let them know that I was very interested. Not only that, but I had the cash on hand and was ready to go. I also offered to pay for gas or whatever it would take to get the console delivered to my door. I figured that would be a pretty appealing offer to someone who I guess was just strapped for cash around the holidays. I was stunned to get an almost instantaneous response, stating that they did still have the Xbox and were in fact still waiting for a proper bid from a serious buyer. They politely asked for a delivery address, so they could bring it over as soon as possible. I was sort of hesitant to divulge such personal information and asked if it would be a better idea to first meet in public since it was much safer that way. I'll be honest, I wasn't too pleased with the idea of a total stranger coming over to my house, but he informed me that he was going to be very busy running holiday errands all day and that there would only be some pretty specific windows of opportunity to drop it off. It would be much more convenient for him if he was about to come over to my house. If he was... Weston says, I am cat. Hear me roar. Roar. Hear me roar. It would be much more convenient for him if he was about to come over to my house. I was still not particularly ecstatic about the idea, but oh man, I really wanted that new 4K Xbox. So in the end, I agreed and texted the dude my home address. I figured it was safer than me going over to his place. At least this way I'd be on home turf. I was so happy and eager to get my hands on that new console, and that excitement only grew as I began waiting for the guy to turn up. But he took his sweet time. I mean, hours and hours passed by before I began to suspect that he wasn't going to actually show. Around 1 in the afternoon, 4 hours after he was due, I was seriously losing my cool, thinking it was a prank or something. I tried texting the guy back, asking him where he was. Previously, I had gotten pretty timely responses from the guy, but this time I didn't hear a single thing from him. By 6 that evening, I just lost all hope. I assumed that he got a better offer from someone else and didn't have the heart to tell me he picked a new buyer. I was disappointed, more than words can possibly describe. I got myself so psyched, and I can't even tell you how deflated I was. It's one thing not to have gotten the item from the store. I could come to terms with that. But I was so close to having one in my hands, it sucked having my hopes dashed so cruelly like that. And that didn't mean I'd given up entirely. So for the rest of the night, I kept looking around on Craigslist and... Craigslist? You ever look on Craigslist? Alright, let me... Oh no. I keep thinking my cat, like, he just keeps moving around and it's distracting me because I keep thinking he's going to scratch on something or knock something over to get my attention for letting him out. He knows how to game me. He works me pretty good. Am I going to do collabs with any other YouTubers in the future, like Corpse Husband, Mr. Nightmare? I would like to. I've gotten to a pretty self-sustaining point right now as far as views go and that kind of thing. And honestly, working with those guys is not easy, I would say. You know, Corpse doesn't really put out content very often, and I'm sure he gets asked, like, all the time to work. I mean, I've been on one of his videos before where I was some sort of stalker voice or something of that nature, but I probably would be more likely to end up in a video with like Lazy Masquerade or B-Buster or something like that, because Mr. Nightmare does not respond to messages or anything like that, though Corpse Husband did you know, do a collaboration with him, but I'm not really surprised because Corpse is, you know, in the 1 million subscriber range now, so... And I think he's much better at networking with people than I am. I don't think I'm the best at that, to be honest. What is this? Okay, I'm letting my cat out. Uno momento. Cat. Why? Can you take this point? Sorry, Pradeep starts to get like fidgety and starts like smacking on random strings and stuff, and like it's so weird. It's like it's not that he necessarily wants to. It's not that he necessarily wants to go out. He just. I feel like he just wants to be mischievous little boy. Cage Unlimited with the 2 says, what do you think of Blue Spooky? He's a good guy. He reached out to me to collab a while ago, but I feel like collabs are difficult sometimes because you like say you want to do them, but if you're not like super motivated to get right to it, like you kind of lose track of it sometimes. You're like, oh shit, I gotta get back to that guy. Cheese Bungeon, thank you again for the 5. Says thanks for being so down to earth and open with us. Also, Lazy is fucking great. Yeah, he's a fantastic. I love his channel. He's got one of those channels where it's like, I feel like it was smart on some YouTube channels like his to not put out content as frequently as someone like me. Even though obviously that pleases you guys, there's something about YouTube's algorithm where it's almost like putting out videos like once a month is almost more beneficial to a channel than one that does it 3 times a week like me, or you know, some channels do daily stuff. You know, I don't get it. Craigslist as fuck. Craigslist. So for the rest of the night, I kept looking around on Craigslist and other sites to find a new Xbox One X that was within my price range. But as I was getting ready to wind down for bed, I heard something. At first I had dismissed it as the wind or something, that it was maybe just my imagination. But then I heard it again. Someone knocking. Not at my front door, but lightly on the TV room window. I walked up to the bedroom window and peer out into the driveway, seeing this strange-looking dude at my front door looking around as if checking the coast is clear. I'm suspicious, but I go downstairs to see what he wants. He identified himself as the guy who had the Xbox, apologized for being so late, and explained he had gotten backtracked with errands during his day. Then he casually asked if I still had the money. I opened the door all the way, but still kept the screen door closed as a precaution. Something just didn't feel right, like at all. I told him that, yeah, I still had the cash on me, but I didn't see that he had anything with him, so I calmly asked if he had brought the Xbox with him, like if it's still in his car or anything. As expected, he told me it was out in his van. He told me to get the money and come out to the van with him and he would get it for me. I let him know that I wasn't really comfortable walking out to his van, but he seems to understand and tells me it was all good. I briefly look over the guy's shoulder and see that there is in fact someone else sitting there in the van. Not only that, but the dude at my door has been keeping his hands concealed in the little front pouch of his hoodie the whole time while talking to me, and there was definitely something more than just his hands in there. Don't ask me how I could tell. I just could. You know when you just get a gut feeling about something? Yeah, that. I tried to stay as chill as possible as I lied to him that I'd just go fetch my wallet and return in a minute. His mood immediately changed as I closed the door in his face before locking it. I then make the split-second decision, better to be safe than sorry, so I pull my phone out of my shorts and dial 911. But as I do, I heard a loud thud on my front door, then the sound of the van's engine revving before it zooms off into the night. When I went to check and see if he had damaged my door, I nearly peed my pants when I saw a rusty old hatchet buried in the wood. I was right that he had something in his sweatshirt, and that I shouldn't go out to the van with him. Be careful who you're buying from, folks. You never know who's behind the username. Fuck, my voice cracked. Be careful who you're buying from, folks. You never know who's behind the username. Your cat Sid is so bossy, that's funny. Yeah, someone asked me earlier what story kind of like sticks with me, and there was one that I do recall that was very similar to this, where it was so sad. It was like a dude's husband, or not a dude's husband. Yeah, it was a girl's husband, and they had a kid together, and the husband was going out to get the PS3 or something from someone from Craigslist, and then as he came up with the money, it was only like $200 or something like that. He came up with the money to the person's car door, and they freaking shot him, and he died. and they took the money and just sped off, and it's just like, Jesus Christ. Like, can you imagine, like, you kill somebody for $200? Like, I mean, I guess if you're addicted to heroin or something insane, or crack, or both, or whatever, or, I mean, even like contract killers probably charge way more than that. I don't know. It's just like such a spit in the face of creation, you know what I mean? Where you're just like, fuck you. Your life is only worth $200. Like, god damn. Hey, see you, Weston. But yeah, exactly. Such a low life. $200. That's all it takes. It's insane. It's just so sad too, because like you're not only killing somebody for $200, you're like ruining like someone else's family. Like a young couple that's got the future ahead of them with children, and you just like rob them of a husband, rob them of a father. You're literally a demon. You're a demon. You're a demonic, evil piece of poopy. It just sucks. All right. So this one's called Bruce Pardo. Would I recommend lower mic sensitivity or higher mic sensitivity for recording? Well, it just depends. I mean, the lower aspects, wouldn't pick up as many like plosives and, the S sounds where it's like, and all that kind of stuff. I feel like I've always had my, I've always had my mic at a little bit of a higher input, because it's you sort of experience like that ASMR sensation, but you do put yourself prone to pick up like background noise. But there are programs like Audacity that you can very easily remove background noise. If you like record 10 seconds of background noise in the beginning, you can use that as like a noise profile to remove that noise profile from the remainder of the audio, and it makes it sound very good, very professional, and that kind of thing. But I don't know. It's up to you. It's up to what you're trying to go for, and what is most convenient to work with, or in your workflow, and all that kind of stuff. So, whatever you think, and whatever people respond to well as, or you can ask others to listen to it, or your audience to kind of give feedback. Anthony with the 2 says, "This is really getting to you, huh?" Yeah, I mean, it's just sad. I don't know. Just sad. Sad shit. You're just trying to have a nice holiday, and maybe you're not making a lot of money, so you're trying to like provide some entertainment for your kid, or get them a good present for a deal, and some insane person just ends you. It just fucking sucks. Bruce Jeffrey Pardo. A name you may have never heard of before, but in 10 minutes or so, it'll be a name you'll never, ever forget. Bruce Pardo spent his formative years in the San Fernando Valley, graduating from John H. Francis Polytechnic High School in Sun Valley, Los Angeles. After earning a degree from the California State University, Northridge, he was gainfully employed at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory and La Canada Flint Ridge for many years. It was working at the Flint Ridge Lab in 2004 that he has a chance encounter with one Sylvia Orzo, the woman who would become his wife in early 2006. However, the marriage was far from a blissful one, and less than a year into the What is this word? Bethrathal? Bethrathal. What the fuck is that word?
Betrothal.
Sorry, blew my ears out there. Betrothal. Formal engagement to be married engagement. Okay, betrothal. Weird. Weird. Hit that like button. Hell yeah. However, the marriage was far from a blissful one. In less than a year into the betrothal, Sylvia filed for a divorce. She cited that Mr. Pardo refused to open a joint bank account with her, that he also expected Sylvia to take care of her own 3 children with her own finances. One can understand why Miss Orzo would be so quick to seek a separation. Despite the official reasons given in Orzo's application for the divorce, it seems that there were other things at work that motivated her to file for one. This includes the rumor that Pardo had abandoned his previous family after their child was crippled in a hideous swimming accident, refusing to pony up the money for hospital and rehab fees. In June of 2008, a divorce court had ordered Bruce Pardo to pay almost $2,000 a month in spousal support. During the divorce proceeding, Bruce had angrily... What? These words, they're too big for my brain. Is it on-fided? Maybe they meant to... Oh, it's probably confided. They just forgot the C. I see now. All nuts run downhill, lol. Alright, during the proceedings, confided. Okay. It's interesting, the chat is like super, like, I guess there's like a long lag between when I say something and you guys respond to it, which is deep throatal. Yeah. Yeah, so it's you can, based on when you type that in or when I said it, you can see like it's kind of a lag there. But so I apologize if things kind of seem off kilter, but I don't really know how to adjust that, to be honest. During the divorce proceeding, Bruce had angrily confided to a close friend his wife was taking him to the cleaners. Then just a month later in July, disaster struck when Pardo was fired from his job as an electrical engineer at ITT Electronic Systems for billing false hours. As a result, the court suspended the support payments due to job hardship, but according to court documents, Pardo was still required to pay Sylvia Orzo a lump sum of $10,000 as part of the divorce settlement. Sylvia Orzo had already kept the diamond-studded wedding ring as well as the family dog in a court declaration. Pardo complained that Sylvia was living with her parents, not paying rent, and had spent lavishly... Let me redo that. That sounded weird. Dude, that's what kind of freaks me out about, like, you know, marriage and relationships and divorce and stuff like that, because I'm just like, fucking Jesus, dude. Like, I feel like everyone always gets, like, screwed in the arsehole every time they go through with it, because it's like, okay, divorce is, like, the likelihood of it happening is, like, over 50% now, at least in America, and, it just seems so sad. Wee wee caca. Brittany K with the tensest, sexiest voice on the internet, and the stories are pretty rad too. Thank you, Brittany. Oh yeah, sexiest voice on the internet. Let's read. Where's the like button on this first live stream? Oh, it should be down bottom right if you're not full screening it. Sylvia Orzo had already kept the diamond-studded wedding ring, as well as the family dog, and, in a court declaration, Pardo complained that Sylvia was living with her parents, not paying rent, and had spent lavishly on a luxury car, gambling trips to Las Vegas, meals at fine restaurants, massages, and other luxuries. All of this left Pardo with an intense desire for revenge, and on Christmas Eve of 2008, he made a terrifying, fateful decision. At approximately 11:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Bruce Jeffrey Pardo was dressed in a Santa Claus suit when he knocked on the door of his former in-law's house, occupied by about 25 people. A Christmas Eve party was in full swing. Spirits were high. Although the revelers were not expecting to see Pardo at the party, they were pleased to see him nonetheless. His 8-year-old niece, Katrina Yusupolsky, the daughter of Letitia Yusupolsky, a sister of Sylvia Pardo, ran to greet him, obviously overjoyed to see her uncle wearing such festive garb. As she bounded towards him, arms either side of her as she prepared to give Santa a big hug, Pardo pulled out a handgun and shot her in the face. The horror that the party experienced in that moment is hard to fathom. As Pardo began firing indiscriminately at the fleeing revelers, those that had been cut down find Pardo looming over them, pistol in hand, before he brutally executes them with shots to their heads. In the initial aftermath of the attack, one of the house was clear of all but the dead and dying. Pardo took a package from his parked car. Inside it was something he'd been working on for months, a homemade flamethrower. An accomplished engineer, what Pardo had created was an effective weapon indeed. Fuck, that sounded weird. An accomplished engineer. This is fucked up. Jesus Christ, dude. Yeah, it took a real hard turn. That's what I'm saying. Careful who you get married to, and careful who you fuck over, because that shit comes back to haunt you. Jesus Criminy. An accomplished engineer, what Pardo has created was an effective weapon indeed, and he used it to spray burning gasoline all over the building. 9 people died from either gunfire or flames, and 3 others were wounded. The 8-year-old niece, who was shot in the face with severe but non-life-threatening injuries, a 16-year-old girl shot and wounded in the back, and a 20-year-old woman who suffered a broken ankle jumping out of the second-floor window. There was one survivor who called the authorities during the attack after escaping to a neighbor's house. The resulting fire soared approximately 40 to 50 feet and took almost 100 firefighters almost 2 hours to extinguish. Due to the intensity of the fire, identification of the victims was only possible with dental and medical records. After the attack, Pardo swapped the Santa outfit for his regular clothes and drove his Dodge Caliber rental car to his brother's house in, I don't know how to say that place. Silmar? Run, mofo. No, yeah, Jesus, dude. That's what I'm saying. Like, and it's so weird to think, like, you weren't even part of this chick's relationship with some rando who is like, might not even been part of your immediate family. It was just like a side, you know, he was just like an aunt or an uncle that's not directly related to you, you know what I mean? And obviously, you know, depending on your relationship with them, you love them or care about them, blah, blah, blah. But someone else's baggage literally brings just utter destruction upon your life because of that discrepancy there. That's insane to me. Holy shit. Melissa Goggin with the 2 says, I love your voice. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you for the 2 buckarones. How'd they know about the niece then? I think it said that she suffered injuries or something like that, or that shot to the face didn't actually kill her, so maybe someone was able to... I have no idea, honestly. Wait, okay, yeah, Silmar. How do I say that? Pronunciation. Okay.
Silmar, California.
Silmar. I'll just say Silmar. Yeah, it seems right. After the attack, Pardo swapped the Santa outfit for his regular clothes and drove his Dodge Caliber rental car to his brother's house in Silmar, about 30 miles away from the crime scene. It was here that he was later found dead from a single, self-inflicted gunshot wound. It was initially believed that Pardo intended to flee to Canada by plane since he had bought an It was initially believed that Pardo intended to flee to Canada by plane since he had bought an airline ticket to a flight on Air Canada. However, it was subsequently discovered that the flight itinerary on Northwest Airlines was from Los Angeles to Moline, Illinois, with a layover in Minnesota. Pardo had called days before to tell a high school friend that he was planning to visit, but investigators were unsure if he was actually intending to visit or if the flight was simply to throw investigators off the scent. However, he had visited the friend before in October of 2008, so it is likely he was going to attempt to lay low in Illinois before he escaped over the border. Other reports stated that the Santa suit had melted during the flamethrower portion of the attack and had adhered to his skin, so not all of it could be removed. Given that he was suffering from severe third-degree burns on his arms stemming from the blaze, Pardo decided to go against the initial plan. Police found $17,000 in cash cling-wrapped on his legs inside a girdle. His rental car, parked 1 block from his brother's house, had been rigged with remnants of his Santa suit that would detonate the car with black powder if removed. Also recovered from the scene were 4 13-round capacity handguns that were empty, and at least 200 rounds of ammunition, suggesting what had been inside the car was being threatened. Suggesting that what had been inside the car was being treated as a threat, a bomb squad. Okay. Suggesting that what had been inside the car was being treated as a threat, a bomb squad fired an incendiary device inside it, burning and destroying it. At Pardo's house in Montrose, police... Is that how you say Montrose? You speak French. You speak Minion. Pardo's house, police recover... wait, where was I? Montrose, okay. At Pardo's house in Montrose, police had recovered 5 empty boxes for semi-automatic handguns, a Benelli M2 tactical shotgun, and a container for high-octane fuel tank gasoline. They also found what was described as a virtual bomb factory in his home. Pardo's act of insane vengeance left a lasting legacy. Polystyrene, the lead singer of the 70s post-punk band X-Ray Specs, recorded a song in 2010 called Black Christmas, which contains references to the massacre. All alone drowning in my Christmas sorrow. Oh, not my Christmas sorrows. All alone drowning in my sorrows. Christmas time always brings my sadness home. A child is born on Christmas Day, but they crucified him away. Yo, that was pretty messed up. Carrie, your family. Why was your family unsafe? But I'm glad they are safe now. Rossi says, I've always seen these where he records it live, but I had no idea it was like this. Mind-blowing, life-changing. I'm all about it. Hell yeah. Welcome, welcome, Miss Sierra. Take a sip of Wawa. Uh-oh, Jamie ate too much. What did you eat, Jamie? That your tum-tum hurts. My tum-tum. Please. Please, my tum-tum. Ashley says, please marry me, thanks. Well, I sure hope our marriage doesn't end up like the last story, am I right? Nah, I feel like I'm pretty sound of mind. But it is interesting to think that, like, I don't think anybody ever, like, plans on being an insane shooter slash flamethrower dude who sets bombs in his cars when the police show up and just shoots himself. No, I'm not saying he's justified any of that, but it's weird to think, like, what aspect of the relationship was so bad to the point you go to those lengths. Jesus Christ, you know. That's what's, yeah, like I said, scary, scary, scary. Anthony Esposito with the 5 says, what did the farmer get for Christmas to count his cattle? A calculator. Sarah says, my voice puts her to sleep. Thank you, Sarah. It is fun that I can lull people into dreamland, because I think that's a very good thing to have available to you, is something that can make you sleep. Because sleep, I want to say, is definitely one of the most important things on Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So this is Joanne Yeats. Yeats? She's about to yeet somebody. Let's take a look. It stands to reason that there is no good day to find a dead body, but perhaps the very worst time to find one is on Christmas Day. A celebration of life and love stands in stark contrast to the brutal reality. The bugle realities. Pradeep's like, shut the fuck. Yeah, he's not in the room anymore. My roommate took him off into his lair. Hey, Ashley Halsey has become a full-grown pizza and a member of the Buttersock cult. Thank you, Ashley. Welcome, welcome. 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 A celebration of life and love stands in stark contrast to the brutal realities of life and death. But sometimes, real life is much stranger and much more disturbing than fiction. This is the story of Joanne Yeats. Joanne Claire Yeats was born on the 19th of April, 1985, to David and Teresa Yeats in Hampshire, New England. She was privately educated, Jesus Christ. Wait, it says Hampshire. Oh, Hampshire. I thought it said New England. Joanna Claire Yeats was born on the 19th of April, 1985, to David and Teresa Yeats in Hampshire, England. She was privately educated and studied for her A-levels at Peter Symonds College, graduating with a degree in landscape architecture. She later received her postgraduate diploma in landscape architecture from the University of Gloucester. God, there's going to be all these fucking places that I can't pronounce. Let me go look it up real quick. Is it Gloucester? Gloucestershire. Worcestershire. How do you become a member? So if you click, there's a button that says join, and it will let you become a member. I think it's that simple. Pronunciation. All right, here we go. Do.
Gloucestershire.
Gloucestershire. All right, that sounds pretty British or whatever. Or whatever. She later received her postgraduate diploma in landscape architecture from the University of Gloucestershire, the golden ticket to her dream of a career in horticulture in December 2008. Wait, what? Oh, they forgot a period there. The golden ticket to her dream of a career in horticulture. In December 2008, Yeats met 25-year-old architect Greg Reardon, and the pair quickly began dating. The couple moved in together the following year, opting to settle in a nearby Bristol, when the company that they were employed by relocated there. By October of 2010, Yeats and Reardon had moved into a flat at 44. I can't say this fucking place. It's like Kanyinga. Kanying. It's probably not. Probably a soft G or some shit. Pronunciation. It's so weird. Like, why? Okay. Let's see. Oh. I wonder if it will say this in this one. Okay. Oh, it just says new Joanne Yeats CCTV released with no voiceover or anything like that. Well, fuck. Because it said in the video that it had the street that they were killed on. Or I don't know if they were killed or not, but presumably. Tickle my pickle for a nickel. Your surname, hello, welcome, welcome. Anybody know how to pronounce this? Canynge. I can't find friggin' anything. Have you ever thought about narrating some non-horror related stories, maybe for people who like falling asleep to narrations about scary stories? Well, my channel's kind of garnered towards that, so it's just like hard to deviate from that, that of which I've sort of pigeonholed myself into. But if there's something that you think would be interesting, I'm more than happy to hear it out. Because I've done funny stories in the past, or like stuff where it's like, today I effed up stuff, you know? Your surname, yes, that is exactly what I need to pronounce, but I can't find the pronunciation, and I don't want to botch it. And there's just all these like links that it gives, but it's not. Yeah, it's like a place in Britain or something, but I doth not know. You'd have to tell me exactly how to say it, otherwise I'm just gonna be stupid. That doesn't sound right. Can ye? Silent G. You know, can ye? I'm gonna go with that. That sounds pretty good. Can ye? By October of 2010, Yeats and Reardon had moved into a flat at 44 Canny Road in the city's Clifton suburb, happily cohabiting with a view to starting a family. However, at approximately 8 p.m. on the 19th of December 2010, Reardon returned home from a weekend visit to Sheffield to find their new apartment completely deserted. Reardon tried to contact her by phone, but had no success. Shortly after, Reardon called her again, but her mobile phone rang from a pocket of her coat, which was still in the flat. He also found that her purse and keys had also been left, and that their cat appeared to have been neglected. Greg began to worry at this point. Joanna doted on that cat. It was extremely out of character for her to fail to care for it. Shortly after midnight, Reardon contacted the police and Yeats' parents to report her missing. A police investigation came to the conclusion that Yeats had been attended. Fuck. Canyeg? Canyeg? Cannyneg? Cannyneg? Canyeg? I don't fucking know. I don't care, honestly, at this point. We've moved past it. Oh, Ashley says, if you're trying to pronounce Canyon, it's like Cheez-It? Well, it's I don't quite think it's, how's it spelled? It's Canynge, so I don't think it's that, but we are where we are at this point. And I don't think really anybody. It's pronounced Canning. That last part that you wrote there, you surname, like I don't know how to pronounce the INGE, like I don't know what that pronounces to. Alright, had approximately... Okay. A police investigation came to the conclusion that Yeats had attended a staff Christmas party with colleagues on December 17th at the Bristol Ram pub on Park Street, leaving at around 8 in the evening to begin the short walk home. Yeats was seen on CCTV at around 8:10 p.m. leaving a Waitrose supermarket. Alright, see, I feel like I gotta get that right because people are gonna know how to say Waitrose, and I'm like, that's not how you say my favorite supermarket. It's not how you say it.
Waitrose.
What the fuck? Maybe there's like a Waitrose commercial. Oh, Jesus criminy. A 2-minute commercial for Waitrose? Oh, Waitrose. Hey, Lena, thanks. So just Waitrose. Okay. Okay, sounds good. Yeats was seen on CCTV at around 8:10 p.m., leaving a Waitrose supermarket without purchasing anything. Phone records showed that she called a friend, Rebecca Scott, at 8:30 p.m. to arrange a meeting on Christmas Eve. The last known footage of Yeats recorded her buying a pizza from a branch of Tesco Express at around 8:40 p.m. She had also bought 2 small bottles of cider at a nearby off-license bargain booze. On the 21st of December, Greg Reardon, along with Joanne's parents, made a public appeal for her safe return at a police press conference. In another press conference, broadcast live on the BBC, Yeats' father David commented on her disappearance. I think she was abducted, Jesus cripes. Hey, KFC man says, how's it going with the 5 buckaroonie? Thank you, my friend. Oh. It's not just Waitrose, it's like Waitrose, 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 whatever. I can't go backwards. Desiree Craig with the 550 yen says, not sure the yen rate today, but this should be about $5. Well, thank you, Desiree. Thank you. And how's Japan treating you? Japan. We're at 610 people here, guys. Welcome. Hit that like button if you haven't already. Doing more Skinwalker stories. I'm not really sure when we'll get back to Skinwalkers. I did a recent paranormal recording, and it's pronounced Bitch Rose. And the paranormal video did not do super well. So I feel like I'm going to have to limit my paranormal productions to maybe like every 3 weeks or a month or something like that. I think she was abducted after getting home to her flat. I have no idea of the circumstances of the abduction because of what was left behind. I feel sure she would not have gone out by herself, leaving all these things behind, and she was taken away somewhere. Detectives retrieved a receipt for a pizza but found no sign of it or of its packaging. Both bottles of cider were found, with one of them partially consumed, as there was no evidence of forced entry or a struggle. Investigators began to examine the possibility that Yeats may have known her abductor. On Christmas Day of 2010, a fully clothed body was found in the snow by a couple walking their dogs along Longwood Lane near a golf course and next to the entrance of a quarry in Fayland, approximately 3 miles from Joanne and Greg's flat. To the absolute heartbreak of her friends and family, the body was identified by police as that of Joanne's. Reardon and the Yeats family visited the site of the discovery on the 27th of December. David Yeats said that the family had been told to prepare for the worst and expressed relief that her daughter's body had been recovered. Shortly after 7 a.m. on the 30th of December, Christopher Jeffries, Yeats' landlord who lived in the same building, was arrested on suspicion of her murder. But on the 4th of March 2011, after a thorough investigation, police stated he was no longer a suspect. He subsequently won an undisclosed sum in libel damage. Shit. Hey there, Harley Belden with the new member has become a full-grown pizza and a member of the Buttersock cult. Thank you, Harley. Welcome, welcome. Now you can use all the cool emotes, I think. I'm not super certain. OT Super Duper with the 2 says, you may skip any British word that annoys thee. Thanks. Thanks. I do want to get it right, you know what I mean? Just so it's like, because I know, like, if I was listening to stories and I was from a certain area, like, something just very specific to where you're from, and you hear it, and you're like, wait, what the fuck did he say? And then you're just like, the immersion gets kind of killed, so I just, like, don't want to kill the immersion. Dan, how old am I? I'm 29. He subsequently won an undisclosed sum in libel damages for defamatory news articles published following his arrest, and received an apology from Avon and Somerset Police for any distress caused to him during the investigation. In January of 2011, a reconstruction of the case was filmed on location in Bristol for a broadcast of the BBC television program Crime Watch. Snow Business, a Gloucestershire-based firm that has been involved in the production of the Harry Potter films, was contracted to reproduce the snowy conditions at the time of Yeats' disappearance. Within 24 hours of news coverage about the production, over 300 people contacted the police. A breakthrough led investigators to believe that Yeats' body might have been transported in a large hold-all or suitcase. On the morning of the 20th of January, Avon and Somerset Police arrested 32-year-old engineer Vincent Tabak, who lived with his girlfriend in the flat next door to Yeats. But authorities declined to reveal additional details while the suspect was being interrogated due to concerns over controversial media coverage of Jeffrey's arrest. The Tabak arrest followed an anonymous tip from a female caller, shortly after a televised appeal by Yeats' parents on Crime Watch. Fuck, dude. Does anyone... I'm gonna have to wait for you guys' answers, but does anyone recall how I pronounce the Canynge road? I can type it in the chat. Jesus Christ. Canynge. Okay, I typed it in the chat. How the hell did I say that initially? I don't even... Somebody told me how to say it, but now I forget. Does BBC mean Batman beats children? I believe, yeah. That's why we need to stop funding it. Stop funding it. He's beating children. Can ye? Can ye? Can yeet. Liam, thank you. Canning is how you said it, I think. Oh, fuck, it's pronounced Yates? Whatever. God damn it. Yeats is funny, because it's just... I mean, it's not funny that she's dead, but it's just funny that I've been saying Yeats the whole time, because... Canned egg. What the hell? Kanye? Canninge? Oh, like syringe? Oh, fuck me, dude. Dude, you use surname. You do not understand. Every time I get something that doesn't, like, that I don't know how to pronounce, I will do exactly what you said, where it says, just look up blah, blah, blah pronunciation. And I swear to God that Google sucks. Google sucks. Because there's never, like, unless it's like a really popular word, there's just no pronunciation of it, or no, like no one's taken the time. Like, probably no one has ever been like, you know what? I bet some guy over in America probably wants to know how to pronounce this word. I better put it online. For him. He probably has a YouTube channel, and he's very spooky and annoyed. Kiji? 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 What? Kiji? Oh, Caninge. Caninge? Canned eggs? Caninge. Alright, I'm going with Caninge. Alright, whatever. No one's gonna care that the first one was wrong, but I've been saying Yeats' name wrong the whole goddamn time. Her ghost is gonna fucking strangle me in my sleep. You didn't even say my fucking name right! You idiot! Caninge. Caninge Road was closed by police while scaffolding was constructed around Yeats' home, and officers sealed off Tabak's adjacent flat. Investigators also searched the nearby townhouse of a friend where Tabak was believed to have been staying about a mile away. Tabak had previously been ruled out as a suspect during an earlier stage of the investigation and had returned to Britain from a holiday visit to his family in the Netherlands. The trial of Vincent Tabak started on October 4th, 2011 at Bristol Crown Court, where he pleaded guilty to manslaughter but denied murder. The prosecution's case was that Tabak had strangled Yeats at her flat within minutes of her arrival home, using sufficient force to kill her. The prosecutors... Wait, how can you get manslaughter but not... I manslaughtered her, but I didn't murder her. Like, what the fuck? So when Sylvia, you feel like you're having a stroke. What the hell? You alright? The prosecutor stated that Tabak, The prosecutor stated that Tabak, who was around a foot taller than Yeats, had used his height and build to overpower her, pinning her to the floor by the wrists, and that she had suffered more than 40 separate injuries to her head, neck, torso, and arms during the struggle. These injuries included cuts, bruises, and a fractured nose. The court heard that the struggle was lengthy, and her death would have been slow and painful. Sorry. Reset. Manslaughter is not premeditated. Oh, interesting. What the fuck, though? Jesus Christ. Just out of nowhere, like, I'm gonna freaking strangle her to death. I feel like it definitely had to have been premeditated to a degree, but I mean, I can't argue that in court, I suppose. But just because he was like a neighbor, you think he would have known her. Throat farts. Yeah, that was a big throat fart. You gotta rate it out of 10. Anything I've been up to lately? Just reading spooky stories. The court heard that the struggle was lengthy, and her death would have been slow and painful. However, no explanation was offered for the reasoning behind Tabak's initial attack on Yeats. Evidence was presented that Tabak had then tried to conceal the crime by disposing of her body. The court heard that DNA swabs taken from Yeats' body had provided a match with Tabak. Samples found behind the knees of her jeans indicated she may have been held by the legs as she was carried, while fibers suggested contact with Tabak's coat and car. Bloodstains were found on a wall overlooking a quarry close to where Yeats was discovered. The prosecution also said that Tabak attempted to implicate the landlord, Chris Jeffries, for the murder during the police investigation, and that in the days following Yeats' death, he had made internet searches for topics that included the length of time a body takes to decompose and the dates of refuse collections in the Clifton area. In his defense, Tabak claimed that the killing had not been motivated. In his defense, he had told the court that he had killed Yates while trying to silence her after she screamed when he tried to kiss her. He claimed that Yates had made a flirty comment and invited him to drink with her. He said that after she screamed, he held his hands over her mouth and around her neck to silence her, but he denied suggestions of a struggle, claiming to have Yates... claiming to have held Yates by the neck with only minimal force and for about 20 seconds. He told the court that after dumping the body, he was in a state of panic. The jury was sent out to deliberate on the 26th of October and returned with a verdict 2 days later. On the 28th of October 2011, Tovik was found guilty of Joanna Yates' murder by a 10-2 majority verdict. He was jailed for life with a minimum term of 20 years. Passing sentence, Mr. Justice Field referred to... I don't want to say the word sexual. Just because I feel like YouTube hears that and they're like, what? You can say murder, but sex? You fucking nuts, Joel? You fucking nuts? Yeets on teats. Next time I have trouble pronouncing, go to pronounce.com. One word. Let's check that out. Pronounce.com. Heading there now. Okay. Wait, what the fuck? Boost your English with pronounce. Oh, is it a... Oh, it's not like a type in type thing. It's like, is it a program? 3 to 5 days delivery, 100% satisfaction, 30 days money back guarantee. What? I don't want to buy anything. I mean, I appreciate it, but I feel like there's got to be a free place that... It's weird. I mean, I appreciate the suggestion. It's just I don't want to pay money. What's another word for sexual? Oh. Sensual. Carnal. Yeah, we'll say carnal. Even though it's quoting the prosecutor, but it's literally not the quote at all, but... Passing sentence. Mr. Justice Field referred to a carnal element to the killing. You love my mistakes, thanks. I try to make it fun. That throat fart was an 8 out of 10, thank you. I've been trying to get better. Smaxy. Smashable. Pervert. I could say pervert, I guess. Unless you're calling me one. In that case... Andrew, welcome from Atlanta. My name is Andrew from Atlanta. And I come bearing beats. Intimate. Intimate would be good, yeah. I definitely have used that previously. Previously. Lustful, yeah, lustful is good. Kind of sound like Ghostface. Ghostface Killer. Alright guys, we got 2 more thingamajiggies. Stories, as they call it. It is free. It's howtopronouncethen.com. Oh, my bad. Sorry, I must have typed in the wrong thing. I saw the pronounce and then .com and got confused. Can't put a web address on here. I tried. Yeah, I see it. So yeah, let me try that real quick. How to pronounce... Oh, yeah, that's the... Okay, so we'll try... Yeah, how to pronounce... Yeah, I think, this is the website that comes up, like, automatically through Google. Google. And, sometimes they just don't... Let me check real quick. I'm going to type it in. Click pronounce. It's... Yeah, it takes you here automatically, and basically people have to, like...
Canninge.
Canninge. I don't, like, maybe that was right. Some old lady actually did take a second to put that in there, but it's kind of hit or miss with the howtopronounce.com. Like, even though it's usually the first thing on Google to come up, it's just whether or not somebody had actually gone in and recorded a quick pronunciation. Okay, so John Bennett Ramsey is the next one. Yeah, I've been at this for a while. Yeah, Jesus Christ. Places from America are a little bit easier. But yeah, as long as I hear it once, I can kind of emulate it. I just, it's like finding it, those hyper-specific words. Canonge. Canon. Joel is married to his cult. I am very dedicated to my people. I bet they never miss. Google Translate. Oh, interesting. So if I were to go to Google Translate, and it's already set to Norwegian, which is funny. Where's Spanglish? English to English.
Canning.
So it said canning, which I respect that it's, but it's like a robot trying to figure it out. Rebel Ghost Girl with the 2 says, big fan, I love your reviews. Thank you, Rebel Ghost Girl. Welcome. A rebellious ghost she was. Amelia, you want to stay and listen, but 5 a.m. comes so quickly. Oh boy, yeah, that's a late one here. Your dogs are stealing your grapes while you're listening. Those pups. Those dang pups. John Bennett Ramsey was born in 1990 in Atlanta, Georgia, the younger of 2 children of Patsy and John Ramsey. John Ramsey was a successful businessman who was the president of Access Graphics, a computer system company that would later be bought up and absorbed by the Titanic Lockheed Martin. So in 1991, John and Patsy moved their family to Boulder, Colorado, where Access Graphics' new headquarters was to be located. Patsy Ramsey was a regular on the junior pageant scene and entered their daughter in various child beauty pageants that were held in Boulder. John Bennett, oh fuck, dude. I'm probably saying that so goddamn wrong. It's probably Jean Benet, super French. Yeah, Booby Bear got me on that one. Thank you. Oh yeah, this is, I do remember this in the news actually. John Benet. Oh fuck. Whatever, thank God we caught that early, all right? Thank God for you guys. For my devoted Buttersock cult has helped me once again. All right. Hard reset. Jean Benet. Should I say Jean? Is it like a soft J? Jean? Oh, dude. Jean Benet actually... Because I went to Boulder, Colorado, and now I'm remembering all this shit that they talked about this when we were there. Jean Benet. All seniors should use Life Alert. Is this pre-recorded? It is not, Exotic Gamer. Welcome. Buttersock. Jean Benet Ramsey was born in 1990 in Atlanta, Georgia, the younger of 2 children of Patsy and John Ramsey. John Ramsey was a successful businessman who was the president of Access Graphics, a computer system company that would later be bought up and absorbed by the Titanic Lockheed Martin. So in 1991, John and Patsy moved their family to Boulder, Colorado, where Access Graphics' new headquarters was to be located. Patsy Ramsey was a regular on the junior pageant. So he is from the States. I am, yes. Patsy Ramsey was a regular on the junior pageant scene and entered their daughter in various child beauty pageants that were held in Boulder. Jean Benet would prove popular on the pageant scene, winning the titles of America's Royal Miss. What the fuck is that? America's Royal Miss? Winning the titles of America's Royal Miss, Little Miss fuck. What's it? Little Miss Charlevaux. Laissez quoi? KFC Man with the 3 says, have you ever rode a dirt bike? I hit a deer once. Shit, good question. You know, one time I was at a party with my buddy. I forget, it was his birthday or some shit. And he lived out a little bit out in the sticks, and now, you know, he had a dirt bike and kind of a wooded area / like dirt biking trail that went to a you know, back up into a field. And yeah, he let me ride it, and he asked me if I knew, and I think I lied. I think I lied and said that I knew what I was doing. But as soon as I took off, I like didn't know how to like change gears of the clutch or any bullshit like that, or even really brake. So as soon as I hit it, I just went, and I was zooming, and I just remember like I was just going around and I couldn't really stop, and my friend was like so pissed. He went and like, during my inability to like stop or figure out what I was doing, my friend went and got his other dirt bike to chase me down, and I just remember like him being next to me, like freaking the fuck out, telling me to stop and stuff, and I just remember going by this one like attractive girl who was in my like at the party or whatever, and just like, you know, going by her and like making eye contact, and she just made this face like, yeesh, Jesus fucking Christ, what the hell's wrong with you? Kind of, you know, like, holy shit, what were you thinking? I don't know. It was really funny because I'd like never talked to her, and just like looking at her like as I passed by on the dirt bike, and she's just like, what the fuck? So yeah, and I never officially learned how to do that shit, so I'm a noob. Anyways, original Asherell with the 10 says, attention money. Oh, attention money. There is a conspiracy theory that says Jean Benet is really Katy Perry. I am serious. Season's greetings. Look up the song. Interesting. Jean Benet, like she was kidnapped and turned into Katy Perry? Dude, what the fuck? YouTube, the clutch is a bitch. I'm almost on the opposite side of a mountain. Wait, are you allowed to say the B word? I guess I just did, so yeah. Me and Robin were at the same party. That would be so fucking funny. What if me and Robin grew up together? We had no idea. Trying to impress a girl. The girl was so impressed. She looked at me and said, "Look at him. He not know how to ride. Let me kiss. Let me give sucking kiss." From girl to boil. Alright, what the fuck am I talking about? Jean Benet. Oh yeah, that's right. I have to figure out how to say Miss Charlevaux. Probably just Charlevaux. Laissez s'asseoir. Charlevaux le Sasquatch. Did someone say that in the chat? Because I think I saw that. Charlevaux. How to say Charlevaux le Sasquatch. Charlevaux le Sasquatch. Sasquatch. Charlevoix? That's not right. She can't be right. Charlevoix?
Charlevoix.
There's 3 thumbs up on it. Emma saying is full of shit, dude. I don't believe her for a god dang second. Alright, here we go.
Charlevoix.
It is Charlevoix. What the fuck?
Charlevoix.
Oh my god. Emma was right. I'm sorry, Emma. The YouTube person. Charlevaux coucher avec moi Sasquatch. Sasquatch. Alright. We've made it thus far. Jean Benet would prove popular on the pageant scene, winning the titles of America's Royal Miss, Little Miss Charlevoix, Little Miss Colorado, Colorado State All-Star Kids Cover Girl, and National Tiny Miss Beauty. Jean Benet's active role in child beauty pageants and Patsy's reported pageant mother fuck. You have semester exams tomorrow. Good luck, my friend. Everybody's doing a lot of that lately. JonBenet's active role in child beauty pageants and Patsy's reported pageant mother behavior were common knowledge among their friends, family, and fellow contestants. According to the statement that Patsy gave to authorities on December 26, 1996, she realized that her daughter was missing after she found a 2-page handwritten ransom note on the kitchen staircase. The hastily scrawled note, written in black marker pen, demanded $118,000 for their child's safe return. John pointed out to police that the amount was nearly identical to his Christmas bonus of the prior year, which suggested that someone who would have access to that information would be involved in the crime. Investigators looked at several theories behind the dollar amount demanded and seriously considered employees at Access Graphics who may have known of the amount of John's prior bonus as suspects. By most standards, the ransom note was unusually long. The FBI told the police that it was very unusual for such a note to be actually written at the crime scene during the crime itself. This led police to believe that the note was staged, due to it not having any fingerprints except for Patsy's and authorities who had handled it, and because it included an unusual use of exclamation marks and initialisms. The note and a practice draft were written with a pen and pad of paper from the Ramsey home. According to a Colorado Bureau of Investigation report, there were indicators that the author of the ransom note was Patricia Ramsey herself. However, a federal court ruled it highly unlikely that Patsy wrote the note, citing 6 certified handwriting experts. Meanwhile, John Ramsey made arrangements to pay the ransom as a forensics team was dispatched to the house. The team initially believed that the child had been kidnapped, and JonBenet's bedroom was the only room in the house that was cordoned. Cordon bleu le soir. Drinking milk straight from the teat. Jamie is doing that tonight. Save some for me. On every gallon of milk, they should put like a little teat on the top, just for authenticity's sake. One teat for every... Okay. Oh, cordon bleu. All right, let's see.
Cordoned.
Okay. The team initially believed that the child had been kidnapped, and JonBenet's bedroom was the only room in that house that was cordoned off to prevent contamination of evidence. Boulder Police Detective Linda Arndt arrived early the next morning with the goal of awaiting the kidnapper's instructions, but there was never an attempt by anyone to claim the money. It was then that detectives made a horrifying discovery. One of the plainclothes detectives asked... Wait, what? One of the plainclothes detectives... Oh, okay. What the fuck is that? A plainclothes detective? Like they look into people who wear plain clothes. Yeeties, those teeties. Jesus. Jalen with the 2. Thank you, Jay. Alright. One of the plain clothes detectives. I never heard of that. One of the plain-clothes detectives asked John Ramsey and Fleetwhite, a family friend, to search the house to see if anything seemed suspicious. They started their search in the basement. John opened the latch door and was horrified to find his daughter's body in one of the rooms. JonBenet's mouth was gagged with duct tape. A nylon cord had bound her wrists and neck, while her torso was covered by a white blanket in an attempt to conceal the corpse. But it could not mask the smell. John Ramsey picked up the child's body and took it upstairs. The autopsy revealed that JonBenet had been killed on Christmas Day by strangulation and skull fracture. There was no evidence of conventional abuse of any kind, although police refuse. I'll just keep saying carnal abuse, which is, yeah. There was no evidence of conventional carnal abuse of any kind, although police refused to rule it out for the murder. Although no bodily fluid was found, there was evidence that there had been an injury to the girl's private parts. At the time of the autopsy, the pathologist recorded that it appeared her private area had been wiped with a cloth. Oh shit, what's this word? All these words, I don't know how to say.
Garrote.
Garrote. Kill someone by strangulation, typically with an iron collar or a length of wire or cord. He had been garroted with piano wire. Oh yeah, that's what you do in, what the fuck's it called? Hitman. Yeah, remember Hitman? That game was pretty hard. They found Joel juice at the scene. Jesus Christ. I'm still wanted for that one, guys. That's okay. No jokes. No more jokes. All right? Fuck. Okay. A garrote that was made from nylon cord had been tied around JonBenet's neck and had apparently used to strangle her. The autopsy revealed a vegetable or fruit material which may represent pineapple, which JonBenet had eaten a few hours before her death. Photographs of the home taken on the day when JonBenet's body was found show a bowl of pineapple on the kitchen table with a spoon in it. However, neither John nor Patsy said they remembered putting the bowl on the table or feeding pineapple to JonBenet. If this was true, then JonBenet had been fed by whatever stranger had murdered her, a highly disturbing detail indeed. Boulder police initially focused almost exclusively upon John and Patsy as suspects in their daughter's killing, but by October of 1997, police had over 1,000 people in their index of person of interest for the case. However, a grand jury was convened on September 15, 1998, the main being to consider indicting the Ramseys for charges related to the case. In 1999, the grand jury returned a true bill to charge the Ramseys with placing the child at risk in a way that led to her death, and with obstructing an investigation of murder based on the probable cause standard applied in such grand jury proceedings. But Boulder County District Attorney Alex Hunter did not prosecute them because he did not believe that he could meet the higher standard of proving guilt beyond a reasonable doubt that is required for a criminal conviction in the state of Colorado. However, many years later in 2015, Boulder Police Chief Mark Beckner disagreed with completely exonerating the Ramseys, stating, "Exonerating anyone based on a small piece of evidence that has not yet been proved to even be connected to the crime is absurd." He also stated that the unknown DNA from JonBenet's clothing has got to be the focus of the investigation. At this point in time, and that until one can prove otherwise. He suspected is... Wait, what the fuck? The suspect... Fuck. At this point in time and that, until one can prove otherwise, the suspect is the donator of that unknown DNA. In 2016, Gordon Combs, a former investigator for the Boulder County District Attorney's Office, also questioned total absolution of the Ramseys, stating, "We all shed DNA all the time with our skin cells. It can be deposited anywhere at any time for various reasons that are benign. To clear somebody just on the premise of touch DNA, especially when you have a situation where the crime scene wasn't secure at the beginning, it really is a stretch." Stephen E. Pitt, a forensic psychiatrist hired by Boulder authorities, said, "The public exoneration of the Ramseys was a big slap in the face to Chief Beckner and the core group of detectives who had been working on the case for years." However, it seems the twists and turns in the case never stopped. John Mark Carr, a 41-year-old elementary school teacher, was arrested in Bangkok, Thailand on August 15, 2016, when he falsely confessed to murdering JonBenet. He claimed that he had drugged, assaulted, and accidentally killed her. Yet authorities also said they did not find any evidence linking Carr to the crime. In confession, Carr provided only basic facts that were publicly known and failed to provide any convincing details. His claim that he had drugged JonBenet was doubted because the autopsy indicated that no drugs were found in her body. What's more, DNA samples that were taken from Carr did not match DNA found on JonBenet's body. We may never know who actually murdered JonBenet Ramsey, but one thing is certain. What should have been a jolly family holiday was turned into a living nightmare by a killer who may never face justice for their crimes. You know, it's weird though, because it's like, okay. Like, so I feel as if though I have an inclination that it was somebody obviously close to the family, potentially the family themselves, but with the evidence that was presented, it's like that ransom and that long ransom note of $118,000, it's almost as if though, like, I almost am more inclined towards the mother, you know what I mean? I just don't get it. Why is it? Why would it be exactly $118,000 if, like, if it was both of them? Why would they expect that much? Like, why would they suddenly want that exact amount? Now, it would make more sense if it was, you know, a family member, such as in this scenario. I'm thinking possibly the mother, because she might. So the kid's dead. The ransom gets sent or something. I don't really know how ransoms work, because I imagine if they do get sent, that there's ways to track the money and then find the killer or some shit, or find the kidnapper. And I don't know if their thoughts was like she was going to get the money, $118,000 from the husband, and then just like get out of Dodge or something like that. You know what I mean? Because that's the only thing I could really make sort of sense. She was covering for the son. Oh, okay. Yeah, so if it was like a, you know, I didn't really even know there was a son involved. Mads Maddie with the 2 Australian buckaroos says, I like the theory of the brother for her murder. Yeah, I mean, it would make more sense there too, because it's like, but how old's the brother? Is he like a grown adult? Like, what fucking kid is like making ransom shit, and how do they plan on getting it? Is he gonna go get the money from like a bush that they throw it in, and then come home and just hide $118,000 in under his bed for the next 10 years? He has a weird name. Okay, so he must have been quite a bit older, I guess. He was 9? Huh. Well, if he was 9, why the fuck? Like, do you think he was even in what would be his motivation? It's just weird. Yeah, I don't know. You still say the dad was a pedo. That, shit, if he was, I mean, what would be the motivation there? Like, killed her, hid her body, pretended it was a kidnapping. Maybe they hid it in the house so that, like, it would never be found, and did the $118,000 because that was exactly how much he had available to him. And then he would just reclaim the money, and then the murder would just be... Then he'd never get the daughter back, and then the murder... Fucking hell, I don't know, man. That sounds nuts. Her 911 call is evasive jealousy. Interesting. What time do I go to sleep? Well, we got one more story here to finish out the night. This one's called The Lawson Family Murders, so this will be interesting if you guys are familiar with this one. And yeah, then after this I'll just kind of like edit and stuff for... I might be on the Discord to chat with you guys if you guys are up. Otherwise I'll be just chilling. And Yeah, join the Discord if you haven't. That should be linked down below. I think the link should work. But yeah, so usually I'll get done editing within a period of time, depending on how distracted I am. And Joel's a robot; he doesn't sleep. It's true. I'm like Edward from Twilight with my shiny skin. Jay Wilson, a yee, what's up? You're late. You're tardy. You're tardy, little lady. All right, let's pop off with this last story. All right. Jackie, you're at work. I'm sorry, my friend. Do you want me to? You mean you don't want me to stop, or you? Oh. All right, Jay. Yeah. See you on the Discord. Discord. All right. This time of year, nothing pairs better with too much food and alcohol than grim, macabre tales of murder and mayhem. This particularly ghastly tale takes place on Christmas Day, 1929, on a farm outside Germantown. Germanton. Is it Germantown or Germanton? Germanton. This particular fuck, I got a squeak in my voice. This particular ghastly tale takes place on Christmas Day, 1929, on a farm outside Germanton, North Carolina. Charlie Lawson's big Christmas surprise for his adoring family of 9 began with a trip into town. Sparing no expense, Charlie Lawson agreed to buy each and every member of his family an outfit of their choice before taking them over to a local photographer and having a family portrait taken. Quite a costly affair for a modest tobacco farmer. Just over a week later, it would be Christmas Day, 1929. One might get the impression that Charlie was a good father, who tried to bring his family the best Christmas possible, even on his meager income. But you'd be wrong. On the day itself, 17-year-old Marie Lawson had been busy in the kitchen preparing a fruitcake for after dinner that evening, while the younger sisters, 12-year-old Carrie and the 7-year-old Maybelle, wandered over to their aunt and uncle's house to celebrate the holidays and relieve some of the pressure on Charlie and his wife. Fanny Lawson, Charlie's spouse of 17 years, had been tending to her and Charlie's younger children, while Charlie and his oldest son, 16-year-old Arthur, nicknamed Buck, had planned a very special Christmas Day hunting trip, something of a year tradition for the pair. Year traditions. Yearly is what I meant to say. Something of a yearly tradition for the pair. As Charlie and Arthur prepared to set out on their holiday hunting trip, they soon realized that... They soon realized... As Charlie and Arthur prepared to set out on their holiday hunting trip, they soon realized that they needed more shotgun shells if they were to have a successful hunt. Charlie sent Arthur up to the store to pick up some more ammo while he waited patiently in the tobacco barn. But when Charlie saw Carrie and Maybelle walking down the path on their way back from their aunt and uncle's home, he shouldered his shotgun, aimed in the direction of his 2 young children, and pulled the trigger. There was simply no telling of the absolute terror and confusion experienced by those poor girls. The instant hit of agony as clusters of buckshot slammed into their bodies. The pure sense of chaos, seeing their own father walk slowly over to their bodies, expecting him to help as any got it. Fuck. The pure sense of chaos, seeing their own father walk slowly over to their bodies, expecting him to help as any good father should, only to have him smash the butt of his shotgun over and over again into their skulls, cracking them open in the driveway of their own home. Charlie then set off towards the family home, his trusty shotgun firmly in his grip. Fanny, who had been out on the front porch to investigate the gunfire, attempted to flee, but it was no good. There's no outrunning a shotgun blast. Hearing the gunshots from outside, the teenage Marie screamed bloody murder, trapped in a state of abject panic as her father racked the shotgun and gunned her down in the kitchen. The youngest children heard the commotion and, fearing for their lives, attempted to hide. Charlie quickly found them and brutally bludgeoned them to death with the butt of his shotgun. Even the newborn Mary Lou was shown no quarter. Charlie killed her without hesitation, leaving a horrific mess in the child's crib. Then, for some unknown reason, he then placed rocks under the heads of his dead wife and children and wandered off into the woods as if in a daze. Concerned neighbors of the Lawsons, initially walking over to wish them a Merry Christmas, heard the gunshots and hurried to check on them. Instead of the festive merriment that they had come to expect, they stumbled onto a grisly tableau of blood. I don't know if tableau is the right word. Yeah, this is very disturbing. Jesus Christ. Tableau. So it is a group of models or motionless figures representing a scene from a story or from history.
Tableau.
Tableau. Instead of the festive merriment they had come to expect, they stumbled onto a grisly tableau of blood, buckshot, and shattered bone. Before they could set out to find Charlie, they heard a single gunshot in the woods. Charlie had shot himself. By the time Arthur made it back from his trip into town, his entire family had been murdered. Folks at the town's general store had gotten word that something awful had happened, and someone in town offered to give Arthur a ride back to the family farm. When he reached his home, the police had already arrived and a crowd began to gather. In the woods, police found footprints indicating that Charlie had been pacing around a tree for some time before taking his own life. Next to his body were letters to both his parents. Some accounts reported that Charlie had placed stones over the eyes of his dead family members, as well as cushioning their heads with them. To this very day, no one is certain what exactly drove Charlie Lawson to slaughter his entire family, with the exception of young Arthur, before taking his own life. Some speculate that Lawson had been abusing Marie, and that she may well have been pregnant with an inbred child at the time of her death. Others have insisted that Charlie could not have had the capacity to commit the heinous acts that occurred on the family farm that Christmas Day, and that the entire thing had been staged to frame Charlie. A more credible explanation is that Charlie had developed a medical condition that affected his actions and caused him to experience a psychotic break. Perhaps he'd knocked a screw loose after suffering a head injury while digging a ditch on the farm, or as some reported, he had some kind of painful growth on his chest that had him in constant agony, and he decided to end it all and take his family with him. The killing attracted so much attention that an estimated 5,000 curiosity seekers attended the Lawson family funeral. They were all buried in a single large plot in the private Browder family cemetery just outside of Germantown. The house became a macabre tourist attraction after the murder-suicide, and Charlie's brother decided to open the house to the public, charging admission for tours of the property. Still on the counter sat the cake that Marie had been making. Even after the house had been closed, the cake made its rounds in traveling dime museums. Protective plastic had been used to cover the cake after several onlookers swiped some raisins. The cake toured for at least a decade before surviving family members buried the cake, along with the awful memories that came with it. Though the home was later demolished, the area still has enough spooky history to have inspired ghost sightings of the doomed Lawson children, and of murderous Charlie Lawson. Unbelievably, the tragedy of the Lawson family didn't end in 1929. In 1945, James Arthur Lawson, the only child to survive the Christmas Day bloodshed, died at the age of 31 in a truck accident in Walnut Cove, North Carolina, quite near Germantown. He was buried in the same cemetery as the rest of his family, leaving behind 4 children of his own. When news of Arthur's death reached the local community, rumors of a family curse abounded. They insisted that Charlie had reached out to claim his son from beyond the grave. The murders also inspired the famed bluegrass duo the Stanley Brothers to pen a suitably morbid tune recounting the Lawson family's fate. The song includes the following... Fuck. I was doing pretty good there, actually, even as messed up as this story was, but I feel like I've heard about this before, too. Jesus Cripes. The song includes the following lyrics. They say he killed his wife at first, while the little ones did cry. Please, Papa, won't you spare our lives? It is so hard to die. Yeah, profiting off your family's tragedy, that is pretty fucked up and very strange. And it was funny, too, because that story I told about the girl that had, where the guy was in love with her and she had tuberculosis and, he wasn't even married to her. She had a husband and he had a wife and stuff, and, she refused him multiple times, and then after she died, he built her a mausoleum, and then days later went back and exhumed the body, I guess you could say, and essentially married her, quote unquote, and then consummated the marriage through the process of necrophilia, and then continued to put tubes in her and various silicone to preserve her body and stuff like that. It was pretty creepy. But yeah, then afterwards, people profited off of the funeral by charging a nickel to come to it. So, or the re-funeral or something like that. It's a nickel. Let's see. Back then, 5 cents times 7,500 people who came. That's $375. Dollar amount worth in 1941. Inflation rate $100 in Okay, the dollar experienced an inflation rate of 3.75% per year during this period, meaning the real value of a dollar decreased. In other words, $100 in 1941 is equivalent to the purchasing power of 1,708. So let's do the math. That's 100 divided by, correct me if I'm wrong, but, or no, probably the other direction. 1708 divided by 100. So 17.08 times, was it 375 or something? So they made like $6,405 based on inflation back then with a showing of her body. Still fucked up, but Joel does math. Well, fucking hell, man. Fucking hell. People were fucked up. A lot of messed up shit tonight. Holy heck. Mr. Joel, the math teacher. It's quite simple, really. Quite simple. No, math is stupid. Don't bother with math. Alright, gonna read out this outro. First off, I just want to thank you guys for being here, obviously. And tell me, guys, think of something to say at the end of my little outro here, so when you listen to the video, you can be like, oh my god, I was at that stream when he read that. Hey friends, thanks for listening. Be sure to subscribe and click that notification bell to be alerted of all future narrations. If you got a story, be sure to submit them to my subreddit, r Let's Read Official, and give and receive feedback from the community, and maybe even hear your story featured on the next video. And join my Discord to interact with me and other listeners directly. And if you want to support me even more, grab early access to all future narrations for just $1 a month on Patreon, and maybe even pick up some Let's Read merch on Spreadshirt. And check out the Let's Read podcast, where you can hear all these stories in long compilation form and save huge on data, located anywhere you listen to podcasts. Links in the bio. Thanks so much, friends. That's where I'll include it. Thanks so much, friends, and remember, you stop with math when they added letters. I know. We were saying something about that, like, I don't know what we were talking about on our trip, but we're like, is that an even or an odd letter? I don't know. And remember, kids, Jean Bonnet is Katy Perry confirmed. That is a good one, but I don't know if I'll say that. It's a little disrespectful to the dead, wouldn't you say? Wouldn't want me to get haunted now, would you, Jackie? Thanks so much, friends, and yeet. Yeah, I'm gonna get a lot of shit for calling her Yeats the whole time. Jesus Christ. Oh, Ashley, that's actually a great one. And remember, in 1940, your body was worth about $6,000. I'm doing that. I don't even care. Thanks so much, friends. And remember, in 1940, your body was worth about $6,000. Big Chungus says Santa Claus. Do we have a Big Chungus Santa Claus? Baby Yoda is the new Kermit. Wait, was Kermit cute at all? Alrighty. Alrighty, Miss Tidy. Well, guys, this was fun. One thing that I want to do here in the future is kind of have like a cool outro song. Like Robin, he's such a talented guy. I mean, he does editing with, videos. He does 4D animations, like we can literally smell the animation, and then he does art like for my thumbnails. And now for the documentaries, he's getting into learning FL Studio, Fruity Loops, and doing music and stuff. And it actually would be pretty dope to if he made like kind of an outro song that I can play that's not quite as grim as what you're hearing right now, and kind of give you guys a fun little vibe to go out, and maybe an end screen that says like thanks for joining the stream or some shit, you know what I mean? But oh dude, Muppet Babies, oh yeah, that was such a good show. They should include Yoda in it. Sing a lullaby outro. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, welcome or goodbye. Did Robin make the current background bay? He did. He's so good. He is a beast amongst boys. But guys, thanks for being here. Thank you so much for your generosity and kindness and just general fun vibes all around. This video will be out first on Patreon with the edited audio. So that's only $1 a month if you are so into me voice that you just gotta have it as soon as it comes out. That's in the description below. But also, the video will be out tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And yeah, same place, same vase. Know what I mean? All right, but yeah, love you guys. Love Baby Yoda. Peace out.